Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
God dang. Yeah, we're getting close. It's within reach now. What I'm talking about, of course, is the end of the work week. And this one's going to feel pretty good. But we got to get there first. Welcome to the Half-Assed Morning Show. Oh, I got Cubby over there to my left. You look like you could use a day off.
A little sleepy. Am I looking tired?
You look like you could use a day off.
I haven't slept much this week.
A day to yourself, some downtime, me time.
Little me time.
Don't you still have two more activities to get through this week, Josh? Or are you on... Have you had the second one already?
Three more.
Three more. Oh, my God.
Thanks for that.
Sorry. Oh, man. I was hoping maybe you did something last night, so you only had one left on the docket. I didn't realize you still had three more to go.
No, three more. That's four for the week. Far too many for me.
Who else is here? Smashley made it.
There she is.
Fresh off her very first AC/DC concert. You made it last night, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
What did you think of the show?
Insane. Absolutely insane. You guys weren't kidding when you said that it was kind of a once-in-a-lifetime situation yesterday.
The reviews were very, very favorable. Although there was kind of a weird headline from the Star Tribune, and I was wondering if maybe I missed a reference. AC/DC wins again with lovably loud, lowbrow rock at U.S. Bank Stadium.
What does that mean?
Lovably loud and lowbrow.
I think if you listen to AC/DC closely, or if you're a musician especially, you disagree. I know people say all their songs sound alike or it seems simple. And sometimes it kind of is, but there's some genius behind it, in my opinion at least.
They were right about the loud. It was a little too loud.
Too loud.
Yeah, I tried to get them to turn it down, but they wouldn't do it for me.
I'm surprised.
I've done that before, where I've made a request of the lead singer just to keep it down a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Slaughter, 1991, I believe, was the closest I came to barging my way to the soundboard and demanding that they turn the lead vocals down a little bit before I go effing insane. Slaughter, 1991. I'm surprised that anyone would complain about the noise at such a massive venue.
Yeah, that's the thing is this is the first time I've ever been to a concert at the U.S. Bank Stadium, and I always heard from people the acoustics aren't the best because it's not designed for that.
Right.
But I thought they were fantastic.
It depends on where you are, I've heard. There's people who have been to a couple concerts, friends of mine, and they said it's very dependent on where you sit.
Yes, right. That's true. That is true. And I know where you were sitting last night. You were back a ways.
I guess
you
so.
Were back
they
a
were
ways.
still really good seats, though.
It wasn't side stage.
No.
Side stage, I think, is where you have the most problems. I saw Guns N' Roses, and I was more or less side stage, and there were songs where I couldn't hear certain instruments, could barely hear the vocals. The further back you are, I think, the better overall experience. I mean, no one sounds perfect in a giant iron tank.
Yeah, true.
I'm glad you loved it or enjoyed it. And like you said, a once-in-a-lifetime thing. You had to take this opportunity,
Absolutely.
And I'm glad you did.
The Pioneer Press says now in their 70s, AC/DC still knows how to rock, although they play music that sucks. Again, like I said, it's very
That's
strange.
rude.
Weird.
Okay, the last part wasn't true.
Oh, all right. Say that's kind of mean for them.
Would you be surprised to learn that AC/DC's lead singer, who you saw last night, Brian Johnson, is 77 years old?
No way. What?
He is 70, F me running sideways, 7 years old. I decided to skip this one. I've seen him multiple times. I didn't feel like going downtown with 75,000 people on a work night. But I did just now, before we went live, I watched some YouTube videos of last night's show, and Brian Johnson sounds great. Or as he would say, he sounds great.
Is Angus Young able to move?
From what you tell us, Ashley, because I watched some footage from earlier on in this AC/DC tour, and I thought, oh man, Angus is finally slowing down a little bit.
He was crazy out there.
Oh, but the videos I saw last night, he looked pretty mobile.
Is that
I
right?
never once thought, oh, these guys are so old, or they're running out of steam here.
That's a massive compliment to them, then, that you didn't.
I didn't know he was that old. That's older than my dad.
Oh, yeah.
That's insane. I'm just imagining my dad up there doing something like that.
Isn't that funny?
Does he play an instrument?
No, he doesn't. No.
Your dad has no musical abilities?
No, absolutely not.
Angus is 70. Angus Young, the lead guitar player, is 70.
These guys need to just take a nap. That's doing too much.
Well,
Do
apparently.
they have any young guys in the? You know how that's some of these bands that have been around forever. They'll have hot young guys kind of in the backing band.
Well, the rhythm section isn't Cliff Williams or Phil Rudd or, sadly, Malcolm Young anymore. I'm not terribly familiar with who's playing rhythm guitar, drums, and bass anymore. They're not young guys. I mean, they're younger than Angus and Brian. They're probably in their 50s and 60s.
But I'm sure you guys have noticed that. Like an Alice Cooper or something will throw in just like these young supermodel-looking musicians and stuff.
Oh, yeah. For a while there, Malcolm's nephew, Stevie Young, was playing lead guitar, but he's gone now. So the rhythm section, whatever you want to call it, is... they're certainly younger than Brian and Angus. Oh, Josh, one of the most ridiculous examples of that, where veteran rocker, hires his touring band, and they just don't fit because they're 50 years younger than the effing guy. One of the worst examples I've ever seen was Don Dokken a few years ago. I saw him, and he looks every bit his age. Including the horrible wig that he's wearing on his head. He looks every bit his age. And the bass player and lead guitar player, absolutely no way they've hit 30 years old. It's just kind of silly. But, I'm guessing if you're a guy like Don Dokken and you want to tour again and you don't want to spend a lot of money on that tour, you want to make some money because you're Don, you hire some 25-year-old kids from the Sunset Strip who are just dying to go on any kind of tour. So, yeah, at times it can be kind of silly.
Chris Chaney is the bass player, the touring bass player right now for AC/DC, and it looks like he's known for being the bass player in Jane's Addiction.
I'll have to go along with it.
And Matt Laug, L-A-U-G.
Sure.
He's on drums, and he's played with Alanis Morissette, Alice Cooper, as we were just talking about, Slash's Snake Pit.
Dude.
So kind of one of those guys that is a touring musician.
That's going a ways back. Slash's Snake Pit. Oh, man.
That sounds cool.
They got
I had their first album.
I remember the lead single off the first Slash's Snake Pit record. I really liked it. Can you look up what that song was?
Was it Beggars and Hangers
That
On?
sounds
Is
right.
That the single? I remember that song on the album. I guess I don't remember.
That sounds right. I like the singer in that band. That's 30-some years ago when Slash first dumped the Snake Pit. Anyway, they got the Cannons out for you, for those about to rock. You stuck around for the final, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't see the Cannons?
Nah.
That's the whole... That's the perfect icing on the cake.
Ashley, he was so proud of you for a little bit there.
I know. I need sleep.
You could have lied, Ashley. You could have lied.
I know. I should have. Darn it.
Didn't you say once before that if you want to see Cannons, you got to go to Moon Dance Jam? You'll see some Warlocks there, I've heard.
Dude, I'll give you credit for going out and hitting the AC/DC show and, checking that off your lifetime achievements list or whatever, but you didn't stick around to see For Those About to Rock?
No.
That's a mistake.
I'm so sorry. My favorite part was, I was not expecting this at all, was all the cool light up devil horns that everybody wears. I loved that thing.
I have to say, I'm not a big fan of the light up devil horn.
Oh, I just like the look.
Did Angus do his striptease, or is he too old to striptease anymore?
Not that I saw. I was in the IP a lot, so I could have missed it.
Sure.
That's not your fault. That's my future nephew.
Okay.
That's what kind of sucks. I haven't been to a concert since I've been pregnant, and I forgot how often I have to leave to pee.
Okay, he must not have. That was always one of my favorite gimmicks that AC/DC did on stage, was here you have this barely 5 foot tall, scrawny little elfin-looking man, but yet he takes 15 minutes out of every show to strip for the crowd as if there's anything sexy about him. You know, it's completely tongue-in-cheek and completely sarcastic, and it's part of the charm of Angus and AC/DC that he did that, you know, attempt at a sexy-looking striptease. I always found that to be so hilarious.
So when he's born, are you going to tell your son that technically the first concert he went to was AC/DC?
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty sweet, yes.
Well, go on YouTube then and see the final, the finale with the cannons, if it's up there already, because, I mean, that's the show. That's the perfect ending. They came up with the perfect rock song and the perfect live song when they came up with For Those About to Rock, We Salute You, and included the cannons on stage. I mean, I'll never forget the first time I was staring eye to eye at those cannons at Met Center in 1986 or whatever it was. Just the coolest thing in the whole world. Dee Snider said, legendary lead singer of Twisted Sister, someone asked him years ago, what's the song you wish you would have written? And he said, For Those About to Rock, We Salute You. All right.
Getting text, people wondering if I am familiar with Nita Strauss. Of course.
Oh, yeah.
The guitar player for Alice Cooper. Very talented, very attractive.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I watch some of her videos. She'll put tutorial videos on mine.
I'd watch her make a sandwich.
Oh, well, she's very talented.
All right. Well, now you got to go see Gwar.
Deal.
Because Gwar is God, and there is no escape from God. Now that you've gotten AC/DC out of the way, what was your very first concert? Is it something that would sicken me and everyone else in the room and in our listening audience?
I don't think it would sicken. It's not that bad. Avril Lavigne.
Oh, I don't know her. I remember the name. Was she like that?
You're kind of Avril Lavigne.
That I wanted to be her so bad. when I was
I can see that. Dressed in black.
Yeah, she was like a punk rock chick.
Yeah, she did that little poppy punk thing like Dana likes so much.
The second
pop
concert.
punk.
The second concert would probably disappoint you. It was Justin Bieber.
Oh, no, I don't mind him.
And it was when he was super popular. Like, it was the biggest he's ever been with the flippy hair. And
Okay.
Parents were shanking each other to get tickets.
Yep.
See, the thing is, I wouldn't know a Justin Bieber song if you banged me with it. So I can't get mad at the style. I mean, I know he's a pop singer. I wouldn't know but I've grown to like the guy from seeing him on television. He seems like a nice guy. Seems like
good athlete.
A cool kid. And here's a listener who says he or she was at an Elvis concert in his mama's tummy.
Oh, that's cool.
That is really sweet.
Yeah, I suppose. They say they're 50 years old. They were at an Elvis concert in their mama belly. When did Elvis die? 77? Yeah, so that would make sense. So there you go. Yeah, I'm a little regretful, Josh, that I didn't get out and see the show, but
I know how that goes.
At the same time, I'd probably be a mess right now if I did.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it earlier this week. Even AC/DC's taken 3-4 days off in between shows. So, yeah, I can understand.
Yeah. You know, I did have the pleasure to meet them. Oh, God, at this point, this is 20 years ago? 20 years ago. Oof, was that a rough night. Oh, we just got into the beer. I mean, that's what happens when you go see AC/DC. And plus, I was only 4 years old, something like that. I could still handle it, but we got into the beer big time before and during the show. And then as the show ended, somebody approached me and said, would you like to meet the band? And I was thrilled. You know, even though it was already 11:30 at night or something and I had to get up at 4, I'm not going to miss out on an opportunity to meet AC/DC. And
Oh, that's cool.
we went backstage. They got coolers of beer back there, so we kept with the beer drinking. I didn't need any more. It took the boys a while to shower and come over to the locker room and meet the fans. So by the time they walked into the room, it had to have been near 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh.
Oh, my God. But they were so friendly. And this was Brian, Angus, Malcolm, Phil Rudd, and Cliff Williams, like the classic lineup of AC/DC. And I had them all autograph something or another. But I slept on my buddy's couch that night, Josh, and I remember making it to work that next morning, but that's about all I remember. Oh, God. But there was a great night. Great night. What else is going on here today, Josh? Brad Ryder and Randy Shaver are going to swing.
Free grass. That promotion is moving on. Unfortunately, if you missed it, you can't submit your lawn anymore. But on Monday, we'll start posting some of the submissions that have come in. A&L side, they're hooking us up again, where they're going to give a free lawn to a 93X listener. They've got all the submissions on Monday. You can start seeing some of these nightmare lawns. Has anyone seen any yet?
I have not.
No, I
shared
haven't.
any?
I'm
Okay.
excited to see them, though.
Yeah, me too. On the revamped 93X.com, you'll be able to see some of these. And I wish we could say the value of the prize. I don't know why they haven't mentioned it this year, but last year, if you remember last year, it's a lot. It's a really high-value prize, and what a difference it's going to make for someone. So we were joking about it earlier. It's a totally old guy prize, but I would love to win something like this. Absolutely love it.
No, I'm with you. I really love this gimmick, and I'm looking forward to next week when we pick a winner. Pick a winner. Next Friday, to be exact, we pick a winner. Well, we don't pick a winner. Listeners vote.
Yeah, so listeners will vote. If you jump on there, you can pick. There's 5 jacked up yards, they're calling them, that you can see on 93X.com.
Jacked up.
And then it's a little, 420 cuteness here, giving away free grass.
Sure. When we name a winner is how I should have said that. Here's a listener who says his mother was 8 months pregnant with me. Backyard haircut Jesus. My mother was 8 months pregnant with me when she went to Game 6 of the 1987 World Series.
Holy cow. How did she not go into labor?
I just asked that.
So you, as a fetus, witnessed Kent Herbeck's grand slam in Game 6. I remember Game 6 of the 87 World Series. Herbeck, center field, Cubby. Grand slam.
You caught that ball.
No, I caught Puckett's ball
I thought
in 91.
I know that for sure, but I thought you caught that ball as well.
Oh, no, that was my brother.
You're
yeah.
twins. I get you guys
Yeah,
confused.
spread the love, yeah.
The auto show's in town later on today. Ashley's going to go to the auto show. Is there anything, Josh, you're the car guy on the program.
Well, I don't know if I can call myself a car guy, but I do love vehicles.
You're a car enthusiast.
I was going to ask Ashley if she'd be cool picking me up like a new Ram.
Yeah, I could do that.
Specifically the RHO. Do you
As long
mind?
as I can have your old one.
Yeah, sure. You can have my old one.
The VIN number might be scratched off, but yeah.
Right.
Sure.
You might want to avoid cops.
You're not going to run out there, Josh, and hang out with your bros from the Minnesota State Patrol or anything like that?
Not this weekend, but maybe next weekend. Probably definitely next weekend.
The Twin Cities Auto Show at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Okay.
I haven't missed one in a long time.
Camp Jeep is going to be there. You love that.
I do love Camp Jeep, and I was pretty disappointed. Was it last year they didn't have it? It was one of the more recent years they didn't have it. That's so much fun.
Camp Jeep?
Yeah, they take you around in the different Jeeps, right? And you just kind of pick a Jeep and take you around and show you everything it can do. And there's times you're thinking, oh, there's no way this can handle this. There's no way. And then it does.
Remember when we were allowed to be passengers in those Baja trucks or whatever the hell was happening at the Metrodome years ago, and we both almost vomited all over ourselves? Yeah. What do you call those guys? And it's not Baja, because that's like the outdoor deal where they go racing across. It was some kind of indoor truck racing. I don't know. Maybe that's just what they call it, indoor truck racing.
There's another time I was able to go to a training for a particular. Well, I don't know how much I'm supposed to say, but I was able to go to a training right on a racetrack.
Training on a racetrack.
And I was in a vehicle with one of the trainers, and we're cruising around this thing like crazy. And on the inside, I thought, we're going to die. There's no way. I mean, this person is the best driver I've ever met, but there's no way the car can handle the speeds, the angles we're taking on these corners. On the outside, I was trying to be as calm as possible, but I really thought certain death at that point.
People are telling me, stadium trucks, trophy trucks, or tough trucks is the term.
I've heard trophy trucks, but yeah, I guess I don't know which one it is.
Man, that was brutal. Brutal. And we were still young. And I remember being so excited that they let us set inside and go around the track 5-6 times. I was good after one lap. After one lap, I was praying they were going to pull that pig over. It was ridiculous. I don't know how the hell you can do that. However many laps they go in a race, no clue. But that was fun, but painful.
My stomach can't handle stuff anymore, but I would love to go in a monster truck and a fighter jet if I had the opportunity.
A fighter jet? You would definitely throw up in a fighter jet.
Yeah,
I think all of us would.
I would embarrass myself in a fighter jet. I would cry. I would puke. I would urinate. I would do all of the above.
I thought that was kind of a badge of honor for some of those badass pilots, right? Going to make the guy in the back puke.
Make a guy cack.
Right in the helmet, too. Oh, man.
Oh, it's everywhere. Yes, dude. They kick you out with the ejector seat if you vomit in there.
I bet their goal is to get the hat trick to get you to puke, pee, and crap yourself.
Yeah.
They give you some sort of medal.
Yeah. You get off and the boys are waiting. You pop the hatch. Hey, boys, we got a hat trick. Got a hat. Put it on the board.
Have you guys ever been in a fighter jet?
No.
Hell no.
So I've sat in some retired ones, right? And some of them like from the 80s. And I'm a slight individual. Despite what Nick says about my body, I'm not tall. I'm average to below average in size.
You're heavier than you should be.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I'm technically obese, but sitting in these things, I don't know how anybody taller than me is comfortable in one of those.
No.
I sat in the cockpit of a private jet once, and I have no idea how they get in and out of that. I could barely fit. I'm a bigger guy. I'm 6'2", but it was so cramped in there. It was claustrophobic. I couldn't handle it.
In what? I'm sorry?
A private jet.
Oh, I've never been in a private jet.
Okay, I should clarify. I wasn't riding that private jet. I have a friend who's a flight attendant for a private jet, and her jet was docked here in Minneapolis, and she's like, do you want to come check out the plane? I said, sure. So we went and looked at it. It was kind of cool.
That is really cool. I'd love to see that.
So Ashley's unborn child was at last night's AC/DC show, and that's a story you and your child can tell back and forth until the day that you die. Gamer Jesus, when he was just a little baby, still in diapers, his mother took him to see Molly Hatchet in concert.
Oh, yeah? Boy, I remember when X105, when the company first took over Rev 105, and we were X105, we played a lot of Molly Hatchet in the overnights.
Flirting with Disaster?
That's the one, yep.
So when he was a little baby, his mother took him to see Southern Rock. Some of you younger kids have no memory whatsoever of Molly Hatchet. He said their lead guitarist signed a diaper. Signed a diaper for him. Molly Hatchet. Well, that's just something special. No, I wouldn't be the guy to strap into a fighter jet.
You'd sit in one, though, wouldn't you?
Oh, you mean just one parked on the road?
Yeah, that's all I ever did.
Oh, yeah.
It was a family event, and they had a couple you could get into, and it was cool because, they had some vets there that flew them and would kind of tell you all about them, and they were pretty excited to share some of their stories.
So you said it was a family event, Josh. Was it you and like a line of like 12-year-olds waiting to get into the jet, or were there other adults?
Pretty much. I mean, there were other adults there, but now that you say it, I think I was the only adult in line.
I love that. That's awesome.
I blended in, though, with kids that are 12, 13 years old.
I would certainly sit inside one that's parked, as long as you let me hang on to the keys. I don't want anyone pulling a fast one and starting that thing up while I'm still in the friggin' thing.
Yeah, I wonder if they can fly them or what they do with those.
You let me hang on to the... I know a guy who flew fighter jets in Vietnam.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, real deal, all-American hero type stuff. He's a goofy bastard, but I love him. Oh. All right, let's see. Anyone else go to a show as a fetus that you want to tell us about? That's great.
I didn't go to any concerts, but I still get mad at my mom that she didn't take me to the theater when I was 3 months old to see Rocky IV. I can't believe she made me wait until I was like 11 or 12 to see that movie.
Was she a Rocky fan? Or?
No, not at all. But
well,
she should have known.
My God, you were only 3 months old when that movie came out?
Yeah.
We almost got thrown out of that movie at the theater.
Just get too fired up? Or are you causing trouble?
A friend of mine decided to stand up and openly laugh at the death of Apollo Creed.
Oh, man.
whoa.
Yeah.
Just to be a jerk?
Just to be a
What?
dick, yeah. Just to be a dick.
He wasn't crying?
No. I was.
I was too.
He wanted to make light of it because he was that guy that liked to start trouble. So when Apollo Creed dies horribly in the ring, my pal stood up and went, an adult said, "Sit down, you son of..." And then here comes the, what do you call it, the theater security and what. It was a terrible, terrible thing. It
That
was
is
a very,
terrible.
it was a very un-American thing of him to do, but we were 15, so give him a break.
Some people don't know how to handle their feelings. Like the people that'll do just what you said, like in a horror movie, they'll laugh at something absolutely awful.
That could have been it. That could have been it, that he was emotionally traumatized and didn't know how to react. Okay, let's get going here on our final broadcast for the work week. It's Friday, and we couldn't be more pleased with that. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder will stop by later. By the way, one more thing. Speaking of last night's AC/DC show, there's a show Sunday here in town. What they're calling the Rise of the Roach tour. Papa Roach, Rise Against. Do I have the correct bands?
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're saying Sunday night after the show, you can catch back-to-back Papa Roach and Rise Against songs all in your friggin' grill here on 93X. After the show, tune in for Papa Roach and Rise Against music until you can't stand it. And that's brought to you by our pals at Dennis Kirk. We'll return here in a couple minutes on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Idly ho, neighborinos.
93X.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks as always for listening to the podcast. And of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough already. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Bravo TV star Lala Kent holds nothing back on the Give Them Lala podcast.
It's very a lot.
You want the headline.
Here is my interview with Vicky Gunvalson. Who did the biggest number on you?
I'm not friends with Tamara anymore, which is fine.
Do you feel like you guys can repair?
No.
Stick to what you know.
Iconic.
Absolutely fantastic. It is like the Super Bowl every episode.
Give Them Lala.
Unhinged, but also amazing TV.
Get ready.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
You know, ever since we discussed Ashley's pregnant behind going off to see the AC/DC show last night, listeners have been texting in about which shows they or their children attended while they were very young or still in the womb. Here are some of the text messages that have come in. The number is 651-989-9393. I just crumpled up one of the answers.
I was just going to say, I think you need that one.
I crumpled up one of them, Josh.
I saw that.
Listener says, my mama took me to see a Neil Diamond concert the night before I was born. And this listener says, I've felt a connection to his music ever since.
Oh, very cool. The night before, huh?
The night before.
Yeah.
They do say that if you listen to like a certain type of music or a certain band throughout your whole entire pregnancy, that the baby will recognize that once they're on the outside in the real world.
Well,
it could calm them down quite a bit.
I remember my wife saying that.
Maybe that's why I still feel a connection to Charlie Pride. My dad listened to a lot of Charlie Pride. And Helen Reddy. My mother was a big fan of Helen Reddy. Do you remember her, Josh?
I don't. What's her big song?
I think she was the one who said, I am woman and I am strong, and you will take a friggin' couple steps back or I'll knock you in the jaw, you arrogant man.
Yeah, I know that one.
That kind of a thing. Helen Reddy?
I try to be conscious about that when I listen to music in the car. I try to only listen to good stuff that I hope that
Are you
he
listening
likes.
to the clean versions?
No.
Getting all your CDs from Walmart?
Well, my wife loves rap and hip-hop music, classic all the way up to today. And so my kids, they all like it.
Do they like the hip-hop?
Yeah, they're into that kind of stuff.
You know who else my mother listened to quite a bit when she was, likely she listened to this while she was pregnant with my brother and I. I know I saw a television show, what do they call it, Family Guy, where I believe Stewie's character was very fond of the music of Ann Murrah. Do you remember Ann Murrah?
Sure.
What was her big hit?
What was it? Let me
She
see.
had a lot of really sad songs.
She was a looker back in the day, if I remember right.
What were some of her hit singles? Can you find that for me real quick?
Let's see. They have Just Another Woman in Love.
No.
Broken Hearted Me.
No.
I Just Fall in Love Again. End
No.
of the World. Help Me Make It Through Something.
No.
Can I have this, or could I have this dance?
That one.
If I ever fall in love again?
Could I have this dance for the rest of my life? Yes, I recall that one. All right. Here's a listener who says, at only 6 months old, his parents took him to a movie theater to see Six Pack starring Kenny Rogers.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one either.
Yes, you have.
I haven't.
He's a race car driver. The top sponsor is a chicken shack or something. My wife was pregnant, says a listener. We went to see Iron Maiden.
Oh, very cool.
That's sweet.
One of my favorite bands. One of my favorite concerts.
I was holding my daughter. She was only hours old, watching Game 6 of the Colorado Avalanche Minnesota Wild back in 2002 when Richard Park scored that overtime goal. I almost threw my baby into the air. I was also at that game. That was one of the most exciting overtime goals I ever saw in person when Dick Park scored that winner over the Avalanche way back.
You caught that puck.
I caught the puck after it was... I was having contractions with my daughter when I met Nickelback, says another listener.
Working 24/7, Jesus' mom went and saw Jimi Hendrix when she was pregnant with him, and he's a Jimi Hendrix fan to this day.
Son of a big bastard. 8 hours before I came out the chute, a listener says, I was at a monster truck show. And finally, a listener says, I was in my dad's testicles during the last Vikings game at Met Stadium.
Oh. Well, I was in my dad's testicles at Woodstock. I don't know how long that stuff lasts, but yeah, I guess that's pretty cool. I was at Woodstock.
Dude, you never told us that.
I just figured it out.
I remember the last game at Met Stadium. That was a prison break. Thousands of drunk Minnesotans in snowmobile suits tearing the place to pieces.
My dad tells me he saw a guy walking out of the stadium. He was carrying a toilet, and he had the toilet seat around his neck, kind of like a necklace. You know, kind of wearing it around his neck.
There's only one way to do that, and that's the way. You put that seat right around your dad.
Does that mean anything, or is he just being goofy? Was that like a
I'm
statement
joking.
of some way?
I have no idea the
okay.
proper way to, yeah. I've never seen that in person. I wouldn't know. All right. Let's get into the stupid news. It's our final for the week. You know how we lust to be recognized on a national level here in Minnesota. We have a complex about it. So for those of you who still touch yourself because Jingle All the Way was filmed here and your cousin saw Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad at Subway, for those of you that are convinced that Tom Cruise has a cabin in Cross Lake just because the thought of it makes it seem like we here in Minnesota matter on a larger scale, you'll be happy to know that a young lady from Mankato has been officially recognized on the World Wide Web. There's a picture of her and everything up there on a website called thesmokinggun.com. Very well-known website, right, Josh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people love that one, including me.
It even says Minnesota in the article, big bold letters. This gal, who goes by the name of Vanessa Guerra, she effed up and got herself in trouble with the law. She did. The cops thought that maybe she had stolen a car, but they weren't altogether sure. They needed more proof. And they found that proof right there in Vanessa's journal or diary or whatever you want to call it. When the cops paged through her cute little diary, she denied it. I don't have any friggin' idea what you're talking about, me stealing a car. No idea.
That's ridiculous.
You're accusing me.
Pure poppycock. Come on.
When the cops paged through her little diary, she wrote clear as day in there, quote, totally stole a car today.
No.
She's too old for that, don't you think?
Yes. She doesn't look like the type to write totally.
At 30 years old?
She's 30.
Yeah, you don't write totally anything.
No.
In a purple pen.
You can't make this stuff up. In court, down there in Mankato, Vanessa admitted to being involved in the theft. Ooh, Josh, what's the old saying? Go big or go home?
Yeah.
She admitted being involved in the theft of a 2004 Ford Freestar van. Woo-wee!
Maybe it's one of those where she thought, nobody's going to miss this thing. Nobody's going to report this thing stolen.
Yeah, who's going to notice that?
I'm actually doing them a favor by stealing this.
Oh. Friend of mine. Nothing against Ford. I'm a Ford guy. I am. Friend of mine had an old Ford Expedition. I think I have the right model name.
Yeah, well, they make one of those.
Big bastards. Yeah, big old vehicle. He had an old Ford Expedition that he left unlocked and with the keys in it on the front of his property, just hoping somebody would steal it. He just wanted this damn vehicle off his hands so badly. He left it right up, his property butts right up to a major, well, I wouldn't call it major, but a pretty busy highway. Hoping someone would steal it. Nobody would.
I've had a vehicle like that.
Yeah.
Please, somebody take
somebody. Word is this Vanessa gal turned around and sold the van at a scrapyard for $2,000. Skis. But during the theft investigation, the police were able to locate her journal. On the same day, the Ford Freestar van's owner discovered it was missing. On the same day the owner discovered it was missing, Guerra, whatever her name is again, wrote in her journal, and I agree with you, Josh, her choice of words, her vernacular is so much fit for a younger person. She wrote, totally stole a car today. Something I never thought of doing. I'm effing super freaking out about it.
Super freaking out about it.
Although this is sad, but in 2025, you do have to give her credit for just writing it in her diary and not blasting it all over Instagram or social media.
That's a good point.
The fact that she just kind of kept it to herself, to her personal diary, somehow in 2025, she should get some kudos for that.
I'll go along with it. I will. You want to talk about super freaking out? Now she's totally up against 5 years in prison. She has some priors, too, so, she gone. Thanks for allowing Minnesotans to be acknowledged again, though, Vanessa, on a national scale, but, sorry that you're a thief and whatnot. Hope you find some friends in prison.
You didn't mention my favorite part of this is that her mom is the one that gave them the diary.
Oh, what? Her mother turned her in?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that part.
Yeah, they obtained the journal from her mother, they say.
You want to know why? Her mother's friggin' sick of this crap.
Yeah.
Or maybe she didn't want to go through the diary, but hoping the cops will say, hey, what does it say about me in there? Just out of curiosity.
Oh. I'm guessing Mom is so burned out on keeping up with her kids' nonsense, she just said, just look through this friggin' thing. Maybe you can help put this knucklehead away.
So I know there's journaling apps and stuff like that now, but are people still using diaries? I remember as a kid, it's in movies, TV, and every girl I knew, it seemed like, had a diary. They'd dress it up, drawing, doodling and stuff like you do, Ashley. Was that popular when you were younger?
When I was younger, yes, it was, but not anymore.
You know what I'm saying?
Offended Millennial Jesus brings up a good point. Plenty of time to journal in prison. Yeah, you could become an author if you wanted to, I'd imagine.
Yeah, 5 years, man. She ought to be able to accomplish a lot.
Like Dana was saying, everybody just kind of posts their business online now. More people should get into journaling. Some stuff needs to stay off the internet. Just keep it to yourself in your little journal.
I might get myself a diary, and the first thing I write down in there, Ashley, is going to be this. I'm going to write down, I'm totally into journaling now. Completely and totally. It's sick. It's epic. It's a hot mess.
You have to heart your eyes, though.
Yes. I will put little hearts above all my eyes.
Vacation Jesus reminds us of when Ashley thought she stole a car on the radio.
Oh my gosh, people have asked me about that, and they're like, you did a really good job pretending that you had no idea what was going on. And I had no idea what was happening.
No,
zero clue.
We convinced Ashley, we wanted breakfast is what we told her. And so we convinced her we said we knew a salesperson that left their vehicle unlocked and with the keys in it all the time. We said, hey, just go in there, grab it, go to McDonald's. And we said, hey, look around for some money. Didn't we put money in the glove compartment?
Yeah, there was a money clip. I should have caught on when there was just a clip of loose bills in the car, but I didn't.
You legitimately thought you just took a salesperson's car without their permission to go get McDonald's.
I asked you guys off air before I left, like, hey, I'm not going to get in trouble, right? You guys have my back if this person starts freaking out. And you guys promised me everything was going to be okay. So I thought, all right, let's do it. I want McDonald's.
And it was our old coworker Ross's vehicle. He brought, one of his fleet.
Yeah.
He brought in one that you'd never seen before. So just so you do something like that.
And I kept the change.
Yeah, I remember that day. All right.
That was fun. You kept the change?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He told me, he said, you should just keep the change from this person. And I thought, okay. And then once I found out that it was his money, I still told him, I'm not giving this money back. You owe me this for this experience.
Yeah, he didn't need the money.
Exactly.
Video has cut loose. Video of a very unfortunate accident. Of course, it's our responsibility and our listening audience's responsibility to point and laugh at those who have unfortunate accidents. In North Philadelphia, where Josh was born and raised, a group of bros, a group of gentlemen, were doing their duty as pallbearers for a dead guy.
And you've done that once, right?
Yes.
For a buddy of yours, sadly?
Yes.
I did that for my godfather. And were you nervous at all?
Yes.
I was too. I was worried I'd make a video like this at some point.
It was a very hot day, the day we buried Joe Studley. And 6 of us carried his casket, and because of the heat and because of the weight of the casket, I was a little worried that we would F it up. But we got it done.
Yeah, for us, it was a rainy day, and I thought, what if my hand slips on this? And I also worried I didn't have the strength to hold up my end of the bargain.
You can see it limping a little bit on one side.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. Like he's just going to roll right out of that thing.
Yeah. My biggest concern was, again, it was very hot, so my hands were everyone's sweating, and my hands were slick from sweating, and I thought, we're going to drop this damn thing, but we got it done. My dad gave this buddy of mine the nickname of Joe Studley because women would call our house looking for him. That's the life when you're 21, 22 years old, and women aren't just calling your home phone, they're calling your friends' phones to find you so they can throw you down.
Now, I didn't have that experience with something somewhat similar, and I'm wondering, did you talk to your friend about it?
About what?
About, hey, you're getting all these calls at my house?
Oh, yeah. We loved it. We thought it was hilarious, yeah, that he was getting all these calls at our house. Yeah.
See, I had a different experience. A buddy of mine, he'd like stay out or sneak out all the time. This was in high school. And he would his mom would call our house like at 2 a.m, wondering where he was. She'd call all the moms.
Yeah.
And my dad was a volatile guy, and I'm getting yelled at, right? My dad's enraged with me, and I tell him, like, I have nothing to do with this whatsoever. So finally I had to tell my friend, like, you got to check in with your parents or something because I'm tired of getting in trouble for you sneaking out.
Yeah.
And it happened so often that I really thought my dad was going to wring my neck, and I had nothing to do with it.
Calling your house in the middle of the night. So pallbearers are trying to do their duty, carrying the casket to its final resting place and all that. And as they was trying to lower the box into place, every damn one of them and the casket with the dead carcass inside of it fell smooth into the hole. There they go.
So scary. Ugh. The son of the man who passed away suffered the most serious injuries.
Yeah, he did. The poor dead guy's family is not happy how this all played out. No, they are not happy. It was awful and embarrassing for everyone involved. If you've seen a burial before, you've seen that platform type of setup that you put the casket on top of. Well, that's what gave way and sent all those poor suckers falling into the hole. Every last one of the unlucky bastard pallbearers were injured in this unmitigated disaster.
It was just a horrible incident that happened in a bad moment. The casket laid on top of him and he was out like a light. I think that they should apologize. I think that there should be some reimbursement involved, being that the ceremony was interrupted, nothing was done properly.
Mm-hmm.
Coffin flop.
That's all I've been thinking about this whole time.
Yeah.
Coffin flop?
We showed over 400 naked dead bodies on our show, Coffin Flop.
What?
What is that? A movie reference?
It's from a show called I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson. They did a phony bit where the whole show, right? Their whole show was people falling out of coffins, and they're always naked. And each one gets crazier than the next, like rolling down hills.
Mm-hmm. This was a television show?
Yeah, it's like a variety. Well, not a
sketch comedy.
Sketch comedy, thank you. Yeah.
There they go.
I don't know what to tell you, bud. We're just shooting funerals and showing the ones where the bodies fly out.
Coffin flop.
On Corn Cob TV.
Corn Cob TV, yeah.
Like Josh mentioned, or the lady mentioned there in the audio, the brunt of the damage was taken by the dead guy's son. The casket landed right on top of this kid, and it knocked him out cold. And he went to sleep in the mud there at the bottom of the hole.
So dark.
So the family's blaming the cemetery and the funeral home that set this deal up for him. They say that the framing for the wood casket holder platform thingy that I was telling you about, the framing was wobbly and made of wet wood. Wet wood. Anybody want it?
I thought about it.
What about wobbly wet wood? Will you show me some wobbly wet wood? Anyways, the family's looking for reimbursement for the burial. That turned into an episode of The Gong Show. Nerd. That was them again?
That's all from Coffin Flop.
Oh, that's Coffin Flop.
But the real version sounded like... This is the real version. That's a sad thing, but it created some perfect audio.
I hope something happens at my funeral that the audio gets played on the morning show somewhere.
Well, the problem is nobody would be there.
That's true, yeah. Somebody would have to be recording it.
Yeah. Where the hell is everybody? Dana's dad says. His mother didn't even show up. Where is everybody?
Do I got the right time?
All right, a very unique kind of madness is on display here. Jesus, balls. I think you'll remember this one. A crazy lady in the state of Missouri. She's been accused of trading her foster child for a monkey.
You know, there are days where I'd consider making that trade.
Yeah. Straight up?
Yeah.
No future considerations, no cash changing hands,
No
just child.
first round picks, nothing.
Yeah, no draft picks. Straight up kid for monkey.
Monkeys are pretty cool.
And this gal got arrested for that, for attempting to trade her foster child for a monkey.
I mean, there's even times where, when somebody, they'll buy you a star for your birthday or something like that.
I've heard of that.
Yes.
I've heard of that.
There's even times I'd trade for a certificate to partial ownership of a monkey that I never meet.
Jeez Louise.
There's those days.
Bad days. Now, this crazy lady, for real now, a 70-year-old, who goes by the name of Brenda Douche, not making that up, who, by the way, is one of the most frightening women I've ever laid eyes on in my life. She's been charged with all kinds of child neglect type of this and that.
We'll have to do some deeper dives into hopefully their communications to see if that trade was actually for consideration.
How does that even come up? I mean, is she just searching the dark web for monkey trades?
I'll tell you. I think I have an explanation
Yeah,
for
I mean, I know they mentioned, but how do you even think of something like that?
I don't know. Well, you have to be crazy. This lady is... I saw, again, the picture I saw of Miss Douche, to me, and you have to be a little bit of an older person to understand this, she looks like somebody took 1983 Vince Neil from Motley Crue and left him under a heat lamp for 10 years or so.
Yeah, maybe if you just singed Vince Neil's mugshot, this is what you'd get.
She's got the same exact hairdo that Vince Neil had on the Shout at the Devil tour in 1983, but her mug is like a first baseman's glove. But anyways.
You're not wrong.
Are you looking at 1983 Vince Neil and this lady?
This is ridiculous.
It's insane. Maybe she is his great aunt or something. I don't, well, that wouldn't make sense. He's almost 70 himself. Maybe this is his older sister. And she married a guy named Douche, and so now she's Miss Douche. She has fostered, according to the story, more than 200 children over the last 15 to 20 years. That's creepy. That creeps me out.
Hopefully that means that they were just adopted quickly, so she didn't have them for long, and not that they weren't just taken away.
I don't know.
Because she wasn't doing a good job.
The story says at least 2 witnesses have come forward with information regarding the child for monkey trade. Authorities did find a handful of monkeys at Miss Douche's house.
Uh-oh, there's been others.
Maybe there's been... Word is the kid that she tried to trade was a gal around 17 years old. Once this story broke in the neighborhood, plenty of people called into the local police saying that Miss Douche liked to tune this kid up now and again. This is a full-on horror show right here.
You're calling now.
This is a horror show.
Should have called when you saw it happen.
Team Busted Jesus said most days he'd trade his kids for a Klondike bar wrapper.
Oh, the wrapper.
Not even, what would you do for a Klondike bar? Just the wrapper. You just smell the wrapper.
Lick the wrapper. So, allegedly, Miss Douche called some fellow monkey owner friend of hers. So, Miss Douche has monkeys at the house. She's got a friend in Texas who also likes monkeys. So she calls her monkey owner friend in Texas and explains that she's frustrated with this young gal. So Miss Douche says, hey, would you just take this kid and keep her? And then she says, you know what? Why don't you send me a monkey and you can have the kid? Let's make that trade. Child Protective Services found this kid in Texas and got her the hell out of there. And now a pile of adults have been coming forward saying that Miss Douche was their foster parent for a stretch of time, and she's a total feces pile of a human being.
Yeah, she's doing some disgusting things.
Yeah, what a garbage person.
Would be pretty cool to have a monkey, though.
Well, of course it'd be cool to have a monkey. I've said it on air for years. I would love to have an obedient pet monkey that rode a tricycle, smoked cigarettes, and would wear a backwards baseball cap. But I haven't gotten around to that yet.
I know a family that had a monkey.
How'd that go for them?
It got taken away.
Oh.
The monkey was removed from the premises.
What type of monkey are we talking?
One
of them tiny,
the real tiny ones.
Oh,
yeah.
see, I want a big, fat ass kind of a.
Is that a capuchin monkey?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that the real tiny ones?
I think you're correct.
What did it do? Just it pulled everybody's eyebrows off.
It looked adorable in a diaper, really any living thing.
This family was accused of mistreating the monkey?
No, nothing like that. I think their city didn't allow it, or I don't know all the rules on it, but it was something like that. The city wouldn't allow it, and then they ended up surrendering it.
Oh, that would hurt. That would hurt so much. You finally get a monkey.
Well, they said the monkey was kind of a pain in the ass.
I can imagine.
Oh,
Yeah.
I bet they're a massive undertaking. And I bet they do try to pull your eyebrow off for you when you sleep or something like that. You know?
Yeah, I bet you do not get a good night's sleep when you had a monkey lurking around.
Probably they put a finger up your butt when you're not looking at it. Yeah, someone just texted in and said, monkeys eat their own poop. Yeah, they do all kinds of things with their own poop.
They eat their own?
They eat it. They throw it.
I've known dogs to do that.
They try to make you eat it.
Do they really?
Yes.
I will not eat the monkey poop.
Yeah, I bet a monkey could get you eating poop, Josh.
Yes, you will. You will eat monkey poop, Josh.
No, just a little bit.
Fine, a taste.
Army mechanic Jesus said he's going to go further with this. He would trade on some days. He would trade his kids for a receipt for a wrapper of a Klondike.
All right. We're getting down to the bottom of the barrel now. We got time for one more. God, I don't want to do one more. I'd rather just.
I want to shop for a monkey.
Play some music. You want to go shopping for a? Put your damn thinking caps on now. It's a smart crowd we got here.
Huh?
I was referring to our listening audience.
Oh yeah, well I'll agree with that.
You're an intelligent person, Josh. You are.
I'm not.
And then there's our listening audience.
Screw you.
Put on your thinking caps, because a decent idea here could put you on Easy Street. How's that sound to you, Ashley? Easy Street.
I would love
millions of dollars.
Oh,
How's
sounds
that sound?
nice.
Yeah? NASA is offering $3 million to anyone, any swinging D or V, who can come up with a way to recycle human turds and whatnot. Poop, pee, the whole works. NASA will hand you $3 million if you can figure out how to recycle human waste up there in outer space. So they must be sick of wringing out adult diapers over there at the space program. Here's the deal. Those astronauts, when they're effing around up there on the moon or whatever the hell they do, when they're involved in what they call here a long-haul space flight, they fill a lot of jars with their ones and twos and vomit. You know, they puke now and again up on the spaceship.
Oh, I bet I can guess who.
They whack off. The new guy usually.
It's always the new guy.
When they take those long space flights, the new guy's usually in the corner, puking his guts out. So ones, twos, vomit, semen.
I wonder.
If you can work out a legit way for them to recycle that mess, you'll be hanging out with the beautiful people with $3 million in your pocket.
In some of those space movies, don't they usually like grow stuff on the spaceship? They'll grow like little herbs. So why don't they just use it as fertilizer?
That's exactly what I've seen in those movies.
Here's your $3 million, Ashley.
It must be, it must be much more difficult than
Or
that.
maybe there's
For
just
people
too-
with my chronic condition, we'd all starve to death. We wouldn't be able to grow anything.
Yeah, I thought about maybe there's just too much feces.
I don't.
They don't need that much.
I can't answer that question for you. I don't know why they don't just. But check this out. There are currently. I'm counting them here. Okay, I got it. There are currently 96 bags of human waste setting on the moon right now.
That's ridiculous.
We got turd bags on the moon?
That were left behind by astronauts from the Apollo missions. Apollo, is that like way the hell back in the 60s?
I guess so. I thought...
Was that the Apollo missions? I mean, Apollo 13 was in the 60s when they damn near died.
I mean, was the last flight, I think, was in the early 70s. Or maybe late... No,
you're right.
Early 70s.
I've never followed this stuff. There are currently 96 bags of turd logs left behind by astronauts from the Apollo missions on the moon. It's like BIR after the NHRA Nationals are over.
Gross.
So NASA wants to try and cut down on all the astronaut bombs because they just roll down the window real quick. They toss the bags down onto Mars.
Baudette, fishing guy Jesus, brings up a good point. When Matt Damon went to Mars, he used fertilizer to grow, or his own poop to grow food.
Yes, I remember seeing
Remember
that.
his Mars trip?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I loved that movie.
I thought he was taking a big risk being a star of that caliber and then going off to Mars all by himself.
Yeah, it's like he and Tom Cruise. They're trying to one-up each other constantly.
I better ask Tom Cruise about that when I see him up at Cross Lake.
I've seen him at a bar before in Brainerd.
So anyone got any ideas? I mean, aside from Ashley's fertilizer idea that didn't get us very far, but it was
Yeah, not really. I mean, it would be something like, just put some cilantro on there and go for it.
I don't even know what that means. Cilantro? What is
Just
that?
season it a little bit.
Oh, you season it.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you...
Yeah.
Well, Frank's Red Hot, they're saying is like you put this ish on anything. So if you actually put it on,
turds. There's certain foods that I think are so gross I wouldn't know the difference. Just go ahead, throw it on there.
Here's a listener with a good question. When they leave those turds on Mars, do they plant a little American flag in it? So everyone knows?
You have to.
This is
American turd.
That's a patriotic crap right there, son.
Right.
I'm not fat, I'm aerodynamic Jesus. Most days, he would trade his kids for a picture of a child's drawing of a receipt of a melted Klondike bar wrapper that had been set on fire.
God dang.
Wow.
This excites you for Parenthood, Ashley?
We've gone in directions that we never thought possible.
He said most days.
Most days.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
And India lines it to left field to tie the game. In the air, left center field, and Bader is there. Man, did the wind grab that ball. It's deep enough to give the Royals the lead.
Mm-hmm. That Bader kid is about the only one who's shown up so far for the 2020 Twins.
Rocco!
Sawed-off little peckerhead. Have you seen him play baseball yet, Josh? He goes by the last name of Bader.
I haven't watched the a whole game yet, but just some clips.
Tough friggin' childhood he had, I bet.
Oof.
Yep.
North of 95, Jesus, Josh, he would trade his children for the bubble gum in the mouth of the cashier that printed the receipt for the wrapper of the Klondike bar.
Damn.
Handcuffs Jesus said most days he'd trade his kids for the audio from a morning show about a picture of a child's drawing of a receipt from the purchase of a melted Klondike bar.
We can make that happen.
An airplane fixerer Jesus. I wish I would have got this, and I wish I would sooner, and I wish I would have thought of this. On the topic of astronauts pooping on the moon.
Yeah.
That's one large deuce for man, 97 giant deuces for mankind. There are geniuses in the listening audience with poor taste in morning shows.
We have left a lot of poo logs. Our astronauts specifically have left a lot of turd logs on, was it Mars or the moon? Which one?
The moon.
The moon. It's disgusting. The Twins lost a close game yesterday to the Kansas City Royals. They start a series tonight here at home against the Detroit Tigers. And we'll get into greater detail when those two friggin' guys show up later. Their names escape me at the moment.
Brad Ryder and Randy Shape.
Timberwolves made me feel a little bit better about things last night, but I still can't trust them. And I hate to say that. Maybe after this weekend I'll trust them again. Timberwolves just hammered the Memphis Grizzlies last night. Unbelievable. But I don't know. Maybe after this weekend I'll trust them, Josh, but I feel as if I've been used. They've treated me poorly, and I don't know.
I understand. I've seen a lot of Timberwolves fans say the same thing online. Like they just, it's a confusing team for them.
Yeah. They've promised me a relationship, and so I went places with them that I hadn't gone with other teams. I allowed them to do some things. And I liked it.
You can't open your heart up like that.
I opened my heart. I did. And
but you want something more.
They never call, they never write, and they lose games at Milwaukee after being up 24 in the fourth quarter. Fine. Last night makes me feel a little bit better. The Pigs are at Calgary tonight, and that's a big game. Josh's News is coming up next.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Nice.
93X.
Nice.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks as always for listening to the podcast. And of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough already. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
It's part sports.
We have football on the brain.
Part pop culture.
Dennis Leary. True or false? You refuse to wear a glove with Mickey Mantle's signature on it for the movie The Sandlot.
The Red Sox blood, the Bruins blood, they run deep.
Add in the best celebrity interviews.
Robert De Niro here on The Rich Eisen Show. How are you, sir?
Just got over a 24-hour virus.
The antidote is to appear on The Rich Eisen Show.
There you go. I would have just done it earlier.
And you've got The Rich Eisen Show podcast.
There is a medicinal quality to appearing on this program.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Isn't that a religious show? With all the Jesus and Sheezus talk?
Oh, hell no.
Just kidding. They suck.
93X. I know for sure if you own a firearm and you've got young kids, they should be locked up and stored properly.
A gun went off inside an elementary school student's backpack again, this time in Charles County, Maryland. Happened yesterday, just days after a similar incident in Virginia and weeks after another similar incident. The student had brought the handgun to Billingsley Elementary School, and according to a message sent to families, the gun fired when the student was digging through their bag for a piece of paper. School officials said the student didn't mean to hurt anyone. The school was dismissed early, and luckily no one was hurt. It came just 3 days after another gun accidentally discharged in a third grader's backpack about 60 miles away in Virginia. In that case, a teacher evacuated 26 students from the classroom, and thankfully, once again, no one was injured in that case as well. The child's parents, however, could be in some serious trouble.
Whatever happened to third graders just bringing beer and cigarettes to school?
Things have changed. Things have changed. In the Virginia incident, the parents were arrested and charged with recklessly leaving a loaded, unsecured firearm where a child could access it. A 53-year-old assistant principal at a Florida middle school was arrested following allegations of inappropriate behavior involving a student. Dr. Kevia Lark, an assistant principal at Lake Marion Creek Middle School, was reported by the school's principal after a weird incident involving a 13-year-old male student. When he was sent to her office for throwing balled-up paper in a classroom, 2 witnesses said Lark placed her legs across the middle schooler's lap and told him to rub her feet, quote, since he didn't have anything else better to do with his hands. One of the witnesses claimed she went further, telling the boy to rub her feet like he loved her.
She had a 13-year-old child that was at her school rub her feet. She didn't think he was massaging them the right way, so she massaged his arms and then made the statement like, this will help teach you foreplay for when you have a girlfriend.
Oh boy.
Massaged, he said. Massaged.
The student told detectives when she passes him in the hallway, she refers to him as sexy chocolate. When questioned, the assistant principal initially brushed off the incident as a joke, saying she was just trying to humble the kid. But Sheriff Grady Judge, who we just heard there, wasn't buying it. It's completely inappropriate for a 53-year-old woman to act and talk like that to a middle school boy. Even worse, given she's an assistant principal and he's her student. Although Lark admitted her behavior was unprofessional, she denied making any sexual inappropriate comments. Even so, the school district isn't taking the matter lightly. This is abhorrent behavior for anyone who works among students, especially administrator, the school superintendent said. This person no longer has any business being around children, and Grady Judd agrees.
We calmed the parents down and said, look, she's going to be held accountable for this outrageous conduct.
That's what Grady said of the shady lady. Lark was placed on administrative leave after pending the outcome, that is, of the investigation. A spokesperson for the school, though, said they are starting the process of terminating her. meaning firing her. And police charged her with lewd lascivious conduct and lewd offense against a student by an authority figure. That's odd.
A little bit.
To say the least.
It's a little different.
In a story that sounds like it was ripped from the world's weirdest episode of Cops, a 36-year-old Florida man, already a convicted felon 6 times over, led police on a high-speed chase Tuesday while wearing a clown mask. Deputy, I know, this video is on 93X, or a picture, I should say, is on 93X.com.
Is he going to work? Is that what he does for a living?
Is a clown?
Yeah.
Well, I've got I'm suggesting that coming up here in the next paragraph.
Oh!
But, Ashley, sorry to do that to you. You post stuff to our website, and I know you don't have an affinity for clowns.
It's okay.
You despise them.
I understand.
Deputies spotted the man, later ID'd as Antonio Williams, cruising on a motorcycle that had no license plate, and a clown was riding it. When they tried to pull him over, he twisted the throttle and sped off like he was late for a kid's birthday party. Eventually, he bailed off the bike and made a break for it on foot, still in the clown mask. But the Kawasaki Clown couldn't outrun Canine Mickey.
You still got him? I'm with you. You move, you're gonna get fit. You understand? Watch that man, Mickey. Watch that man, Mickey.
And Mickey did. During the foot chase, officers saw him yeet the backpack into a nearby body of water, and when they fished it out, they found a grab bag of drugs and a stolen firearm.
Hey, dickhead, you probably wouldn't have been noticed at all if you just would have been riding your motorcycle without a clown mask.
Right. 2 17-year-olds attempted to live out Dana's Fast and Furious fantasy last month in Eden Prairie. Around 3 a.m., an officer spotted the duo rocketing down Highway 212 at an A-hole tightening 120 miles per hour.
Dude.
When the officer tried to pull him over, the teens pulled the old split up at the exit move, which would be clever if backup didn't exist. Backup exists, so one was nabbed immediately. The other's escape attempt didn't go the distance either. Both arrested for reckless driving and speeding.
Idiots.
Yeah. Street racing's incredibly dangerous and shows a complete lack of regard for other drivers, the Eden Prairie Police wrote in a blog post, throwing in a fact. At 120 miles an hour, it takes 885 feet to come to a full stop. Nearly 3 football fields, the PD said. The fast-driving teens were released to their furious parents. Both their cars were impounded.
Oh, the way my child would never drive again.
Or walk, maybe.
Yeah.
Never even walk again.
Never see the light of day again.
A 24-year-old Florida firefighter is facing a DUI charge after deputies say they caught him speeding through a neighborhood early yesterday morning. Scott Miller was off duty, but apparently on something, when deputies clocked his pickup tearing through a residential street at over 100 miles an hour just before 1 a.m.
That's a residential street?
Yep.
Oh, my gosh.
When they stopped him, they said he smelled like alcohol, had bloodshot, glassy eyes, refused to take field sobriety tests or blow into a breathalyzer, which got him arrested on the spot. The city of Gulfport says the firefighter's now on administrative leave while they conduct an internal investigation.
I don't even know how the hell you go 100 miles an hour on a residential street.
Seriously.
Without ending up in someone's living room.
A 40-year-old Iowa City man was arrested after police say he drove drunk with a blood alcohol level which could power a small tractor while behind the controls of an excavator. Officers showed up just before 3 p.m. Saturday, 3 in the afternoon. They noticed Dustin Snyder, who smelled like a distillery. He was absolutely marinated in booze. His eyes bloodshot, watery, speech slurred, and he could barely stand on his feet, they said. He admitted he'd been drinking, and a breath test later confirmed it. His BAC, .222, nearly 3 times the legal limit and approximately 1 whole point higher than the average Iowa GPA. Snyder isn't exactly a stranger to the criminal justice system. He has a prior OWI from September, his license suspended just last month after he didn't pay a previous fine. He's also pleaded guilty to domestic assault and child endangerment charges from 3 separate incidents in July. Then in August, he was hit with a harassment and burglary charge after police say they saw him threaten to kill someone. He pleaded guilty to those as well.
So this guy just sucks.
And now he's accused of violating a no conduct or contact order and probation. He's expected back in court next month. Yeah, he cannot get right.
Let's just give up on this guy.
Although it does kind of sound fun to control an excavator.
Absolutely.
Maybe not 3 times the legal limit, but just to drive it around.
That makes it more fun.
While most 9-year-olds are still deciding to have waffles or cereal for breakfast, one remarkably cool kid in Southern California helped police catch a home invasion suspect one morning last week. Just before 6 a.m. last Friday, about 35 miles southeast of Los Angeles, the young lady was upstairs when she realized someone was breaking in. Instead of panicking, she grabbed the phone and called 911.
911 emergency, police or paramedics. There's someone in my house. How are they trying to get in? Go for the noise. Hey, how old are you? 9. Okay, baby, I'm going to hang up with you. Your sister is talking to my partner, and we have officers arriving on scene, okay? Okay. Okay, honey. All right. Good job, okay? Bye.
While she stayed on the line with dispatch, her father confronted the intruder and managed to drive him off with some pepper spray. Thanks to her quick thinking and calm reporting, police arrived within 3 minutes, sealed off the area, and arrested the 34-year-old suspect. She's got a future in law enforcement if she wants it, said the Westminster police chief. Officers praised the girl's courage and composure, saying her clear and calm 911 call played a big role in getting that suspect into custody.
That is incredibly calm and collective for a 9-year-old. I could not see myself acting that way when I was 9 years old. I'd be screaming and crying in a corner in my closet.
I can't see myself acting that way at 39, Ashley.
Well, yeah. And you know what? That's what the chief said. He's like, we've had calls from adults who couldn't maintain their composure as well as this little girl did.
All right, let's cut to the chase. What does the kid get? Taylor Swift is going to take her to the Super Bowl or something?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe there'll be something like that. For Lego fans in the South Metro, everything is about to get awesome. The 3rd annual Minnesota Brick Convention, returning to the Twin Cities, billed as the largest organizer of Lego fan events in North America. It's bigger, brickier, and set for this weekend at the Eagan Civic Center. Tomorrow and Sunday's convention will showcase more than double the Lego displays compared to last year, as in previous years. It'll also feature a dedicated Star Wars area, on-site building zones, both open-ended and medieval castle-themed, and a retail section with rare and retired official Lego sets, as well as fan-made creations for total brickheads. Are you going to this, Dana?
I'm not, by choice, not because I don't want to, because I don't trust myself. Kind of on a spending freeze right now after a couple of big life events, and if you let me loose in something like that, I'm going to be spending a lot of money.
I would think so. Mm-hmm. It seems right up your alley.
I've gone the last 2 years, though. It's a really, really cool event for adults and kids alike.
It's packed, right?
It is, yeah.
This thing is packed. Celebrities of Lego will be in town, including Patrick Durham. Are you familiar with that guy?
No.
He apparently was on the Fox show Lego Masters, and then some online, quote, Lego influencers there as well. A portion of the proceeds goes to Creations for Charity, a nonprofit which buys Lego sets to give away as holiday gifts. Also partnering with VetTix to provide free tickets for current military members, veterans, their families, and families of troops killed in action. So they've got a lot going on over there. Yeah, I was reading about this, and apparently it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it's a lot. Some of the creations people make would just blow your mind.
And Lego fans from all over the state are expected to show up.
Yep.
In theaters this week, The Amateur, starring Rami Malek as a CIA cryptographer who takes justice into his own hands after his wife is killed in a London terrorist attack and the agency refused to act. Along with Malek, The Amateur features Lawrence Fishburne and John Bernthal.
He had a little different reaction than Borat did when he found out his wife was dead.
Very different. Very different.
That's one of the hardest I've ever laughed in a movie theater. When they handed him that sheet of paper, said that his wife was gone. He wanted a high five. If I remember correctly, he asked for a high five.
Also hitting theaters today, Drop, a psychological thriller in which a widowed mother's first date in years spirals into a nightmare when she begins receiving anonymous threatening messages during dinner, leaving her to wonder if her charming date is behind the harassment. Warfare, another theatrical release this weekend, follows a platoon of Navy SEALs on a dangerous mission in Iraq. Now available on demand, Nicolas Cage stars in Gunslingers, billed as a Western centering on a gunslinger with a violent past who must survive a brutal onslaught from a bloodthirsty mob. Streaming today on Apple TV+, Your Friends and Neighbors. John Hamm plays a disgraced hedge fund manager who begins to uncover disturbing secrets in his suburban neighborhood. Aside from John Hamm, who hosts Saturday Night Live tomorrow night, the drama also features Amanda Hubba Hubba Pete and Olivia Humana Munn. Finally, this Sunday, the highly anticipated second season of one of the most popular video games turned television shows in history, The Last of Us. Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey return as Joel and Ellie, continuing their journey through a devastated world while confronting new dangers and even deeper emotional challenges. Sunday's Season 2 premiere on HBO and Max will be the first of 7 new episodes. Mark your calendar. Culver's Give Back Day is just a month away. Stop by your local Culver's Monday, May 12th, when participating Minnesota and Wisconsin locations donate 10% of all sales to the Randy Shaver Cancer Research and Community Fund. Randy, known for his great buns, Culver's, of course, for their great burgers, so it's a great match for a great cause. Culver's will continue supporting the cause through May 25th, rounding up sales to benefit the Randy Shaver Cancer Research and Community Fund as well. For a full list of participating Culver's 10% Day of Giving locations, check out the all-new 93x.com. Shout out to Derek, headed up north this weekend for a family getaway from the DEA. They're on the run from the DEA.
God dang.
Yeah, they like that boogie woogie. Happy heavenly birthday to Denise from Metal Hand Finishing Jesus. You were missed. Happy birthday to Big Ben Jesus, and happy 50th to The Construction Jesus. And that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
It's not like you can hide him. It's not like you're going to put him in your front yard.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Didn't really know where to go, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sneak here in the river. Probably the people would not see me that much, and then they caught for me, so that was kind of funny. If I had to do it again, I would do it again.
Are we live?
There we are.
It's Friday morning. We don't give an F anymore. Neither should you. It's time to loosen up and listen to old Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder run their yaps for a little while. How you feeling today, boys?
Good.
Good morning. Am I on? Okay.
Well, you're always on.
Well, I am always on, Randy. I appreciate you acknowledging that.
Exactly.
Friday's always an F-off day around here. Brad, is Friday a big F-off day at that school that you work at? Do you get to wear a funny tie or anything on Fridays?
I haven't worn a tie since probably the last Timberwolves game that I worked.
What's attendance like these days on college campuses on a Friday? Like when I went, about half full?
I don't know. I mean, maybe a little bit better than that.
Yeah. Now, are you a teacher? You know, some teachers, they aren't going to give you homework on a Friday or maybe a little earlier in the week because they don't want to do any grading on the weekends. Do you think of that kind of thing when you...
I will say the one thing I am sensitive to, because I teach sports management classes, I would say a fair amount of my students are student athletes here, so I do try to look at the athletic schedules a little bit, and I think students appreciate that. Like our baseball team's going out of town this weekend, you know, so I've got a few of those students in my class, so I don't try to assign stuff over
Which
the
one
weekend.
of the kid has like the loosest definition of student athlete? You know what I mean?
Well, here it's we are student athletes here. I mean, our kids aren't getting NIL money or anything like that.
I'm just busting your balls,
Yeah,
Brad.
no.
All right, well, it's nice to have you boys in the mix. I know there's a few of you that consider golf a real sport, even though it's clearly not. The audio you had there to start off our conversation at the Masters Golf Tournament, a rookie golfer by the name of Jose Luis Ballester took out his penis right there on the golf course.
This is ridiculous.
And then he squeeged into a creek. And everyone's just having a good time with this, where I think it's wrong, and he should have been.
I'm surprised with how prim and proper they are, you know, at those events.
What if a fan would have done this? He would have batoned him.
Yeah, I'm really surprised he didn't get DQ'd for this.
He should be DQ'd, Brad.
Yeah.
Right, it's one thing you do it at the 9-hole chip and putt, but...
Yeah, a lot of people were arguing, like, online saying, like, you haven't done this on a golf course. Yeah, but there's a big difference between the local golf course I play golf at and the Masters. What?
Yeah, a lot less cameras probably when you're out there on the green.
I don't have people clapping for me when I'm done going to the bathroom.
Oh, I've had sarcastic claps. I've definitely had that.
Randy, what would you do over at your favorite golf course if a man took out his penis and whizzed into a creek?
I would not be very happy about that.
No?
But
I wonder if anybody's done that at your event before.
No, not that I know of. I think
I've done that at your event before.
You have not.
You guys have a lot of bathrooms
I don't
posted
think
up.
you have. Rush Creek's built a little bit different.
Did you go into the woods and take a squeege, Brad?
I don't think I did, no. I'm just giving
Too drunk to remember.
I mean, I'm sure if you were up north where the golf courses have a lot more trees and places to hide, it'd be a little bit different. But There are not that many hiding places, and most of the local golf courses do a pretty decent job of having bathrooms around too. So,
I'm totally kidding. I couldn't possibly care less.
I know you are.
Who takes a piss or where they do it at the Masters? I couldn't give two pumps about the Masters, but that's what everyone's talking about after the first day here. This guy.
Well, I don't think everybody's talking about that, but I'll acknowledge that I'm sure it's a point of discussion.
It's a point of discussion is what I meant to say, Josh.
I don't know. Top news on CNN, NBC, Fox News. They're all coming.
He said, I think this Luis Jose Ballester said it was one of the biggest rounds of applause he got all day long.
Well, he didn't play all that well. He was 4 over.
You've heard that before, Nick, when you've removed yours from your women that have applauded.
I've heard a crowd pop. I have.
Standing ovation.
I've heard a crowd pop.
Him being 4 over reminds me, Randy, I wanted to bring this up about the guy that I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but he shot 18 over yesterday.
Yeah, Nick Dunlap.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. He shot a 90.
So
Randy, where would you be, you think? If you played a course like that? Is 18
I played Augusta?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be 130.
Oh, really?
Oh, God, yeah.
If you're playing it during tournament setup format.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I saw some professional players being interviewed yesterday, and they were asked that very question. What do you think an amateur would shoot, a normal golfer would shoot on this golf course with it set up the way it is? And they said, well, there's no way they're breaking 100. So even if you were a 15
that hard.
handicap, oh, God, yeah, it is. Yes,
the greens are terrifying. I can't watch those videos without. I can't even imagine.
Incredible.
It's not that friggin' hard. So okay, so they're up and running this tournament. Yeah, and the dude took a leak. So
okay.
Ken Griffey Jr. is working as a photographer.
I saw that. Yeah.
Oh, so him and his old teammate Randy Johnson.
He is really into photography.
Well, I know. I've seen him credited in Hustler.
Yeah. Come on.
I saw Ken Griffey Jr. credited in Hustler. Randy, the big eunuch, also is a professional photographer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Is he also at the Masters?
I don't know if he's at the Masters, but he does a lot of baseball games and sporting events and stuff like that.
Now that you bring it up, yeah, I've noticed that. He's hard to miss.
Yeah, he's very hard to miss.
One of the oddest looking people of all time. Randy Johnson.
The big unit.
Ooh-wee, was he tough to look at, especially when he grew his hair long. He always looked like he was... kind of.
His hair always looked like greased up, like he was about to go to a wrestling event.
Yeah, he looked slick. He looked slippery at all times. Randy Johnson.
Yeah, wonder how the photography industry is done now that everybody's got a cell phone and can take their own pictures. I mean, at the Masters, I know you're not allowed to have cell phones, but just in general, people can take their own pictures now.
Sometimes you can't tell the difference between
a
really well taken iPhone photo and an actual camera.
You're not allowed to have a cell phone at the Masters.
No, you're not.
I remember years ago when we rolled through all the ridiculous rules at this uppity, pompous pile of garbage that they call Augusta. What a bunch of dicks.
The one thing you could probably respect, Nick, is that their concessions are the cheapest at any sporting event.
I know. Everyone always tries to sell that on me. Oh, beer's only $5. Whatever.
I'm not a golf guy, but when I went to the whatever tour came through here, I don't know, 20 years ago or whatever it was, I had a blast. I thought it was a lot of fun. You might have fun if you went to one of those.
I went to the.
He would never have fun, Josh. Don't even give him credit.
I'm going to do a little plug. I'm going to do a little plug for the 3M Open here in town in late July. I'm actually helping out with the media stuff this summer, so everybody should go out and enjoy a day or two of it. Tickets are on sale right now.
That was some of the most fun I had all last summer was going to that.
How did this happen to you guys? How did you get into this?
Hey, Brad.
What happened?
Brad, you should invite Nick to come out for a practice round, maybe not even a turn, just to see it.
I'm going to invite you guys out. We should do the show out there some morning.
Oh, are you kidding me?
No, I'm serious.
I'm down. I'll be there,
Well, I
Brad.
didn't mean that.
We should do the show out there either
That
on
ain't
Thursday
happening.
or Thursday or Friday of the tournament. I'll make
That's
it happen.
not happening.
Can
That's
you find
not
us an
happening.
engineer then too to make that happen?
I'll get the wheels in motion.
Brad, don't waste your time. I'm not broadcasting live from a freaking golf tournament.
You're
We could
listening
talk
to the
all quiet.
93X half-assed morning.
Yes.
We're going to play a segment
Josh
now
is
called
practicing.
Queef or Fart coming up right after Randy Shaver.
Dude, I would love that
And
so much.
basically, these last 4 minutes have just basically paid for what they're paying me the entire time that I'm out there.
Were you talking about playing a round of golf, Brad?
No, I'm going out with some of my downtime this summer, the couple of weeks around the tournament, and helping out. The tournament director is a guy that I used to work with at the Wolves. He asked if I'd come out and help, so I'm going to do
Because
that.
I'll play golf if you let me bring my War Road wedge. I was infamous for my my War Road wedge. Where were we got forced to play golf a number of years ago, and I brought out a Christian Brothers hockey stick, and that's what I used. And then the 117-year-old golf cop almost died.
I thought it was
'cause he
the
so-
axe that made him really mad.
Well, he didn't like the hockey stick or the axe.
What do you?
There's
How
so
many
many
different
rules
things
in
did
golf.
you bring?
I brought a few stupid golf clubs, but I brought a hockey stick. I brought an axe in case we got deep into the woods. We needed to clear an area out.
I'm picturing you getting your golf bag ready.
And the
Here's the
thousand-year-old golf cop wet his little depends
Oh, he
because I
was
was
very angry.
because we were trying to have some fun out
to say
there.
the least. I do think if you went to one of those, like the Masters or whatever, I think you'd have fun at one of those.
I would.
Think of all the babes, Nick. There's so many babes.
I'm gonna. If you're not gonna broadcast live, I'm gonna see what I can do about getting some of you guys some passes to come out.
Knock
Thank
yourself
you,
out,
Brad.
Brad Ryder. Knock yourself out.
Christmas
That
has come
ain't
early
gonna
for
happen.
Nick.
I don't want.
That ain't gonna happen.
I don't want golf babes, Ashley. I want NASCAR babes. You know what I mean? I want NHRA babes.
Just ripping heaters and domestic beer.
AEW pay-per-view babes. Well, the Timberwolves might have eased the anxieties of a few people by thoroughly hammering the Memphis Grizzlies last night.
Here's Naz Reid, got the lay-in, plus the foul. Big Jelly with an and one opportunity.
Big Jelly, he said. They put up a franchise record 52 points in the third quarter. Anthony Edwards scored 44 points on the night. The Wolves beat the Grizzlies 141-125. Julius Randle, 31 points. They just shot the lights out.
They shot the lights out because Memphis doesn't play defense. So, and quite honestly, the Wolves' defense last night was not very good
Wolves
either.
don't play defense a lot of nights either. So.
This was not a defensive
It looked like
showdown.
a practice. It looked like they were practicing.
Yeah, there were baskets being scored faster than you could even pay attention.
It just wasn't. It certainly wasn't a playoff atmosphere. It wasn't anything close to what it's going to look like next week. Yes, give them credit. They bounced back from that terrible loss to Milwaukee. They didn't move in the standings this morning. They still sit at number 8, but they're in a much better position. But I'm not going to go there that they're in good shape yet because they still have 2 games left, and I know who they're playing. They're playing Brooklyn and they're playing Utah. I get it. They should win.
Right.
But you know what? We have been down this road before. And it would not surprise me in the least if they got beat in one of those 2 games to finish the year, just because that's kind of the way this team has gone.
No, you don't have to explain yourself. And what did I say a couple nights ago? How can I trust this team ever again?
That's right. Yeah.
Everyone knows how up and down this club has been all season long. Both teams fighting to avoid the play-in tournament last night. So after the win, the boys are tied with Golden State and the Memphis Grizzlies record-wise. 2 games left. You mentioned who they're playing, and they're trying to snatch that 6th spot in the lineup.
Or even the 5 spot. I would agree with the Brooklyn game tonight. That's a little dicey just because it's a back-to-back deal. Utah, okay. Utah's tied with Washington for the worst record in the league. Utah's not going to even be trying to win that game on Sunday.
Probably not.
I mean, they're going to have, it's going to be one of those, Mark Madsen type games from one of those guys. I mean, there's no way they can lose on Sunday.
No,
man.
Oh, you
Keep that.
Yeah, pull that audio.
The announcer
There is no way they can lose on Sunday.
Keep that audio.
Utah's going to be trying to lose to get the most.
Why? They're not going to try to lose.
So they can get
They're
that kid
They
from
are.
Duke.
They're tied with Washington right now.
I know they are.
15 wins.
What are you talking about, Randy? Are you in denial that teams tank?
No, I'm not in denial that teams tank, but you guys are all assuming that the Timberwolves are going to play great basketball against these last two teams.
Why in God's name would anyone who watches the Wolves assume that for 1 minute?
Well, I'm just saying, I'm not giving.
It's a dicey game.
I am not giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm just not. And I think if you were a Timberwolves fan, you have them prove it to you that they can do that.
We will, but Brad makes a good point. What does Utah stand to gain by winning that game?
Brooklyn doesn't have anything to gain either.
No, but this is a back-to-back deal. They just in Memphis last night. You never know on those. But
right.
Sunday, I mean, I feel sorry for you if you're a fan and you actually paid money to go to Sunday's game. I mean, save your money and go to a playoff game.
Utah stands to gain a lot by losing that game on Sunday. Nothing's guaranteed. No one's crowning anybody, Randy Shaver. We get it. We completely get it. But Brad makes a good point. The Jazz are going to roll out the JV guys, and I don't know, maybe did the point guard, did he dribble it off the side of his foot?
3 or 4 mysterious injuries among starters on Sunday for Utah.
Are we tied in the fourth quarter and Utah's point guard mysteriously dribbled it off his own foot out of bounds? I think a lot of that is possible.
Yeah, I'm not going to go maybe that far, but I will say there will probably be 3 or 4 guys who get major minutes for Utah that will not play on Sunday.
Let's see. The Grizzlies play the Denver Nuggets tonight, and Golden State is in Portland if you're going to try to keep up with everyone that's involved.
Out of the 5 teams between 4 and 8, the Wolves obviously have the easiest of the schedules, for sure.
Sure, for sure. But, I mean, that doesn't mean anything either at this point.
Well, here's Zelda Master Jesus texting in. I'm with Randy. This is the perfect opportunity for the Wolves to piss 2 games away that they should absolutely win. You don't need to explain that to us. We totally understand that. And we, again, as a lifelong Wolves fan, I'm not saying they're going to go out and win tonight, and Sunday by 20. But I'm just agreeing with the fact that the Utah Jazz have absolutely nothing to gain by winning Sunday's game. You don't have to explain to us Wolves history or even the way the Wolves have operated this season. We get it.
Trust me, I know Wolves history.
Yes.
Anybody knows Wolves history.
The Wolves and the Wolves really, they have to win them both. They can't split because a split will not put them in the top 6. They're going to have to win both games.
They win both. They could get as high as 5.
They could.
I said it 2 days ago when they lost to Milwaukee. I have zero faith in this team. No one needs to explain any further what they are capable of. Am I understanding this correctly? It sounds like Zion Williamson of the New Orleans Pelicans might have made the mistake of getting involved with a crazy lady. And now
I saw this too.
Yeah, now she's raising all levels of hell. He got involved with a crazy lady. It happens.
She seems a little wild.
It happens. You know, you're out there slinging it. You know, you're a rich young kid or even a broke young kid. You're slinging it. You're trying to fire down as many women as possible. You're having the time of your life, right? Probably a few people in our listening audience who have made the mistake of hooking up with a crazy person. And then all hell cuts loose. So this is what I think happened. A lady got into his house and beat up his girlfriend or something like that. Some kind of love triangle thing. A gal by the name of Akima Love faces 3 counts of home invasion, aggravated burglary, and stalking. She somehow gets into Zion Williamson's home Monday night and grabs Zion's current lady by the hair and starts swinging her around the house, and then hit the lady with her car keys, and then the cops had to show up, and the lady was later arrested, and she had to go to court, and she was ordered to stay away from Zion Williamson.
Wow.
Oh, man. Like I said, I'm sure a few of our listeners could text in and say, yeah, had a few drinks, hooked up with this one. Next thing you know, she is running naked through my lawn or showing up at my girlfriend's workplace. That stuff is all very scary. It sounds to me at least that Zion might have thrown one down that God dang.
Very similar to something that happened while I was working for the Wolves and happened to Dante Cunningham.
Crazy lady?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to tell us any more?
People can do their own research. That's fine.
Well, it made the news that bad, huh?
Yeah.
I remember Dante Cunningham. All right, speaking of basketball, more than 2,000 young fellers have entered the college basketball transfer portal since the season ended, or since it was allowed to enter the transfer portal. 2,000. That's a lot to keep up with if you're
it is.
Head
for
coach.
Sure. And they may not all be Division I. They could be Division II, trying to get into Division I,
or even 3. We've even got a few here. So.
Oh, I didn't consider that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't consider that. You want to hear a great recruiting story? Brad Ryder working for the Golden Gophers. You ever hear any great recruiting stories or go on recruiting trips or anything like that?
I never went on any trips, but boy, I heard some really good stories from back in the day from old-time coaches.
Like Glenn Sonmore or Doug Wood?
Yes.
Well, if you think of any good ones, holler them.
For air?
What do you mean?
You don't have to name names.
On air.
Well, what happened that you can't share on the air? Were people killed or something?
No, just things that they probably shouldn't have done.
You mean like
NCAA rule type,
possible violation? I thought you were talking about prostitution and murder or something.
No.
Okay. Randy Shaver, were you thinking prostitution and homicide? I was.
Normally I do think about that a lot.
Yeah.
But yes.
I got a little worried there. You're talking about...
It's just so tempting.
Normal
Friday
morning
tempting.
for Randy. Yeah.
Yes.
You're talking about nitpicky little violations and things like that. Okay. Here's a guy, Jim Larinaga, I think is how you say his name. I recognized him when I saw him in a picture. Coached for many years the University of Miami Hurricane men's college basketball team. Resigned this year. They're having a bad year. He was 75 years old, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
But they call him in the article one of the most accomplished coaches of the last 25 years. He told a recruiting story recently, which was a complete disaster, and I hope you can follow this. I was entertained by that. Jim Larinaga served as an assistant coach at the University of Virginia way back in the late 70s through the mid-80s. University of Virginia. So he probably hung out with Ralph Sampson and whatnot. At some point during that stretch, he flew a group of recruits from New York to Virginia on a private jet. Was all this stuff totally legal, Brad Ryder? They were on a private jet.
Sure. Yeah.
What's it say here? They got to have breakfast while on board. The jet had 2 pilots and a flight attendant, first class all the way. Was all that on the up and up?
I think you can fly recruits in that way,
okay.
I think.
All right. Now, this is where the story takes a turn. When they went to pick up one of the recruits for this plane ride, when they went to New York, Larinaga and whoever else was involved in this recruiting trip, so they get to this kid's house. They pull up into the kid's driveway in a taxi cab, take him to the airport. A dog ran out of the kid's house. And nobody thought anything of it at first. But then when they got the kid in the taxi and they're pulling out of the driveway, they ran over the dog.
Oh,
Dude.
God.
No.
With the taxi cab. The kid, because it's his dog, jumps out of the cab to see if his dog is okay. The dog bites the kid and tears a 3-inch gash in the kid's hand.
Oh, because it's So it's in shock.
It's in pain, and then they say never approach a dog when it's been run over, right? So most people might have said, well, you know what, that's the end of this. But Larinaga and his staff were able to calm the kid down and tell the kid's parents, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. They wrapped his hand in a towel. They got him on the airplane, flew him to Virginia. When they got to Virginia, they got the kid to a hospital and got him stitched up. Here's the happy ending. The dog lived, and the dog-bitten recruit ended up having a great time in Virginia and signed with the program.
Wow. What a day.
Man.
That's a recruiting story.
Unbelievable.
So I just looked this up. I was right. Now, here's how messed up the NCAA rules are, okay? You can fly in a recruit on a private plane, but you cannot purchase them a first-class ticket on a commercial plane.
That is so weird. What?
That is odd.
Yeah.
Is that the current rule?
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell you keep up with all that if you're
like
a coach.
Make that make sense.
Yeah.
There's all those stories, too, from back in the day when a kid would be on campus, a recruit, he had no money, and the coach buys him just a pizza. And that becomes a huge violation.
Yep.
Just the dude was hungry. He bought him a cheese pizza. And
right.
Well, I didn't get in trouble. It's too, serious to say I got in trouble for this, but I did get talked to for giving a couple of hockey players, back when I worked with a hockey program, a ride from Mariucci back to the old Bierman building, if you know where that is.
Yeah, that's not very far.
It's like 3 blocks, but it was snowing out. There was a snowstorm, and after practice, they had to go back to Bierman, so I gave them a ride back in my car. And as soon as I got back in the building, somebody talked to me about giving them a ride back to Bierman.
Wow. That's nuts.
What was wrong with giving them a ride?
Yeah,
I'm not allowed to give them a ride because I was staff.
Gas ain't
that
free.
That is just the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
But it's
just dumb.
Yeah. Technically, it was a rules violation for me to give them a ride back to Bierman.
Oh, I just thought of another one that I remember from back in the day. I think this might have been Rick Majerus. A kid couldn't go home for Thanksgiving break. He didn't, for whatever reason, couldn't make it home, so he invited him to go have Thanksgiving dinner with his family, and he got in trouble for that, for letting a kid, who's otherwise be sitting in his dorm room by himself on Thanksgiving.
That's another one. So you can have the team over for dinner, but the whole team's got to be invited.
So silly.
Like you couldn't just invite the one, like your example.
Starting five.
Right.
I got a Rick Majerus story. I was at the Los Angeles, how do you say it, International Airport or whatever they call it. First time I got married. We stopped in Los Angeles on our airplane ride to awful, overrated Honolulu, Hawaii. And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. We landed in Los Angeles waiting to go to Hawaii. There's nobody around. And me and my ex are sitting in a hallway there at the airport waiting for the call to get on the next airplane. And I see this character, long hallway, approaching me. And as they get closer and closer and closer, I'm saying to myself, God help us, I recognize this sumbitch. This is 1998. And as he gets closer, I realize, oh, Christ, that's the University of Utah's head men's basketball coach, Rick Majerus. And he's absolutely deep-throating an ice cream cone. And as he passed by me, we locked eyes, and I could tell he was saying to himself, yes, I get it, I'm Rich Majerus, I'm heavy, and I'm deep-throating an ice cream cone at 2 o'clock in the morning at the airport. I get it. I'm Rick Majerus. I'm overweight, and I'm having oral sex with an ice cream cone. I think his eyes kind of told me he was thinking, please don't tell this story.
At least he knew it in the moment, unlike when Josh was eating was a giant pickle in front of the state troopers.
Yeah, I was passionate about it too, and as I walked away, I realized what I had done.
Yeah,
one of those giant pickles.
The Majerus died young, didn't he?
He did. Yeah,
he did.
Then there was when Franco Harris wanted to start trouble with me at the airport. And to this day, I have no idea why. I've never been mean mugged so badly in my friggin' life. He stared at me like he wanted to cut my throat. And I still, to this day, have no... Is he alive, Franco Harris?
No, died 3 years ago.
I couldn't believe it. And I finally said to the woman I was with, I said, why is Franco Harris looking at me right now like he wants to kill me? And she said, who's Franco Harris? I don't get it. I didn't say anything to him. I didn't step on his foot or anything. But the man behind the, what they call that play again? The man behind the Immaculate Reception.
Who would you look like in his life that he would have mistaken you for?
I don't know.
Like
Rocky Blyer. I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe he thought because of my teeth I was Jack Lambert's son or something. I don't know. 3 games left on the schedule for the Man Bear Pigs, including a late one on the road at the Calgary Flames tonight. The Flames are 5 points behind the Pigs and the St. Louis Blues for that last spot in the Western Conference playoff lineup. Now, tomorrow night, the boys play at the Vancouver Canucks. If they handle their business properly, they should be just fine.
Yep.
They should be just fine.
They should be fine.
Yeah, just have to get some points here in the next couple of games somehow.
Just a couple of points.
Now, do I read this right that Calgary has only played 78 games?
Correct.
So they have one more. Yeah. So, I mean, the game tonight's a pretty big game. If they were to lose that game tonight, they'd only have a 3-point lead on Calgary. So.
Oh, dude. Good question here from Social Anxiety Jesus. Was the mean mugging I got from Franco Harris, was it worse than the look that Cubby and I got from Todd Bertuzzi? Yes, it was.
But did he do what Bertuzzi did?
No.
When we were parallel with him, he turned his head, and then when we went past him, he turned around to continue to stare at us?
No, he did not. When Franco Harris and I were locking eyes at the airport, we were both standing still. But so it was a little different, yes. When Bertuzzi passed us, he kept his eyes on us until the last possible second.
Until we're over the horizon.
Yes, until we were over the horizon. Bertuzzi wanted everyone in St. Paul or in the state of Minnesota to know that day, I'll kick your friggin' ass if I have to.
When Franco Harris was staring at you, you should have got down in a 3-point stance and looked up at him and see what he would have done.
And, downset hut, bitch. Yep. Let's do this. You know what I mean? All right, in case you haven't completely forgotten about the NCAA hockey tournament, and I wouldn't blame you if you have, considering their awful scheduling. The semifinal Frozen Four games were played last night. Western Michigan beat the defending champs in 2 overtimes, so the Broncos are going to the title game for the very first time. State of hockey, my ass. Can any of you even tell me who I'm referring to when I say the defending champs? Go!
Boston U. I don't know.
No, let me give you a hint.
Colgate.
Mork and Mindy lived there. Go, Cubby.
Oh, well, Boulder. They lived in Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, I thought it was Denver. Denver is the... That's a hell of a hint, isn't it, Josh?
Yeah, I would have got it wrong, too. I thought it was Boulder as well.
Okay, I thought Mork and Mindy lived in Denver. And as some of you are saying, I thought we were talking hockey. Who in the hell is Mork and Mindy?
What did that tell you about us, that we knew where Mork and Mindy lived, but we didn't know who was the NCAA hockey team?
Right. Who did I say? Western Michigan upset Denver. And on the other side of things, Boston University beat Penn State. The final will be played tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. Close game. Twins lost to the Royals 3-2. They have the second worst record in baseball behind the Chicago, right there with the Chicago White Sox. Kansas City won 3 of 4 in the series.
Yeah, but Bailey Ober pitched better, and I think that's a good sign.
He did.
So that's probably the biggest deal right now is if Lopez is on the IL, which it sounds like he will be or is right now, they're going to need Ober and Joe Ryan to help pick up the slack. So that was a positive from the game.
Didn't see the game. I'm just going off of what I'm seeing in the box score. Why was he lifted after 6 innings and only throwing 73 pitches?
Now, that's a great question, Brad Ryder.
Like I said, I didn't see the game, so...
Neither did I. Slept right through it.
I'm asking the question because that's been an issue before, and then I'm looking at it, and Kansas City scores 2 in the 7th after he leaves the game.
Well, I mean, I don't know the answer to that question either, but this Twins team supposedly has one of the best bullpens in the league. I've yet to really see that.
Cole Sands was who gave up the
the bullpen has not been as strong as what they were advertised to be. So.
Ty France hit another dong. Only 5 hits on the day for the Twins. Up next, Twins and Tigers for 3 at Target Field. Tonight, David Festa is up from AAA to make his first start of the season. As Randy explained to us yesterday, he's replacing Pablo Lopez. A kid named Reese pitches for Detroit. Malcolm's older brother, Reese.
Reese Olson. Yeah.
Oh, Reese Olson. It's not Malcolm's older brother?
I love Reese.
Not his oldest brother.
No.
Francis.
The run right between Francis.
Dewey is in the bullpen if needed.
Dewey has since retired.
Dewey retired?
Yeah.
Yes.
Byron Buxton was not in the lineup for a second straight game, and word is he's away from the team for personal reasons. It's not related to his health.
Okay.
Well, the fact that he can't get a hit.
Well, he is 7 for 41 with 16 strikeouts this season, but they say it's personal reasons. I'll take their word for it. I hope it's nothing terrible.
Yeah.
Hope it's nothing terrible because he's one cool cat. I still love Byron Buxton. Colorado Rockies pitcher Jake Bird probably hates himself a little bit today.
Sucks.
You guys, I don't know if you saw this video. Not the most graceful ball player I've ever seen. Dude scorpioned himself trying to make a play at first base yesterday against the Milwaukee Brewers.
Ouch. I don't see too many face plants on the bag. Rocky's checking in on him, make sure he's okay. He went down hard.
The still photo of his face on the ground is so funny.
I don't know how he didn't tear his beard off.
I know. It's just totally smushed. This is on 93x.com.
The still photo is...
Oh, it's awesome.
When I saw the video, his picture is going to pop up, kind of like a cartoon character with all the teeth missing and, jagged and stuff and all over because he did his mouth first on that bag.
Oh, man.
Poor bastard hustled over to first base to cover on a weak ground ball hit up the line. He goes to cover first. Unfortunately, the combination of getting to the bag and catching the throw did not work out for him. He wound up falling, missing the baseball completely, and his face collided with first base at a high rate of speed. There goes that gold glove for Jake Bird. Check out the video if you have a chance. It sounds, from the sound of Randy's mouse, you're vigorously searching for that video right now.
I'm trying to find it, yeah.
Yeah. Click.
Click, click, click.
I don't know how the hell we can hear that so clearly.
I don't know either. It's just bizarre to me.
Put a rag over it.
Yeah, silencer.
You're right there by
That's crazy.
You're right there by your computer. You must have a rag there somewhere.
I don't know what to tell you.
Like some tissue?
I guess I just have to keep my hands to myself because.
Well, that's usually a good idea anyway.
Well, that's the problem when I do the shows. I'm trying to bounce around to find things, and if I'm making noise, then I can't do that. So.
Face plant. Terrible.
And then you got Nick wadding up paper in my ears all morning. So it's like, okay, who's worse at this?
It is
right
loud
now?
paper.
I mean, really. Is it me clicking or you wadding up paper in my ear?
Is it right in your ear?
Oh, my God, yeah.
I get asked about that
every damn morning.
I'm trying to recycle.
Okay.
Look out the window. There's leaves out here. We could get the leaf blower guy out, too.
Jesus.
It's obvious that the Pittsburgh Pirates organization, or the folks who run their ballpark, has no sense of humor. They've upped and made a lame safety rule at their ballpark so fans can't go ahead with the hilarious paper bag over their head routine.
I like that routine.
It's fun.
It's one of the greatest bits in sports history when the fan shows up with the paper bag over his head because he does not want to be recognized as having...
Being a fan.
Being a fan of this terrible ball. One fan did the paper bag gimmick at a recent game. Didn't last long. He was forced to remove it. An employee approached him and told him he'd have to remove it or be ejected from the game because they have a no mask policy at the ballpark. What a bunch of nonsense. They're just trying to keep that, everyone's having a great time at the ballpark image alive there.
Yeah, it's funny.
Let there be a disgruntled fan or two in the crowd with a paper bag over their head. That sucks. That was upsetting to read.
They're sensitive, obviously.
It's one of the greatest bits of all time.
I had a partner request I wear a bag during intimacy. It hurts. caught a glimpse of myself and I understood.
You've never had such a rude partner.
Oh, yes, I have. Just despise my physical appearance.
I got a similar story. I want Randy to hear this one. Randy.
I'm listening.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm just picturing Josh with a bag over his head.
No, tighter bag.
And his socks on.
And his socks on.
Well, you got to leave the socks on.
Oh, my God.
Socks? Because you look silly wearing a shirt without socks.
Oh, my gosh.
The bag, the shirt, and the socks.
Do you want to hear my story, Randy?
Yes, go ahead.
Here's news out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Randy Shaver. You're from there. You're from,
Here we go.
What do you think? Being raised in Cedar Rapids,
yes.
What do you think happened? Do you have any guesses as to what happened?
Quaker Oats blew up.
No. Everyone at Quaker Oats is okay.
The Twins have decided that their entire Class A team from Cedar Rapids is being called up to the majors.
Well, it's baseball related, so I'll say that's close enough.
Baseball related from Cedar Rapids.
Yes. Oh, this is funny. Here's a listener back to that paper bag or bag over the head story from Pittsburgh's ballpark. A listener wants to know, was it a plastic bag? No.
That comes in September.
That would be dangerous. A kid by the name of Amarian Boyd became the first, they call him, minor league player. Became the first minor league player in the last 20 years to steal 6 bases in a game without getting a hit.
And he plays for the Colonels?
He was playing against the Colonels.
Oh, playing against Cedar Rapids.
He was playing for Beloit, Wisconsin against Cedar Rapids. Batting ninth, playing center field, he reached on a fielder's choice. He reached on a walk. And he was hit by a pitch. He stole second and third base each time.
Wow. That's crazy.
Stole 6 bases without getting a hit. He walked again in the 9th inning, but couldn't steal any bases because some bum was on second base in front of him there that didn't have much speed. So, no player has stolen 6 bases with no hits in a major league game. Now, let's say this was the big leagues. It wasn't. But no player has stolen 6 bases with no hits in a major league game since 1901. Target Field is going to go ahead and host 6 high school baseball games this spring.
Good.
And they're going to have all the bells and whistles. You know what I'm talking about? The public address announcer, the video board.
That's exciting for those kids.
I can't imagine.
There's a couple of softball games, too, Brad Ryder. Did you get invited to play at Target Field?
No, we did not, no.
Oh. Well, that's upsetting.
We're going to keep it that way.
It's okay. Dana, we were at Eastview yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Did you see my statue?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
By the softball field.
You want to know what schools are playing at Target Field this spring?
Sure.
I think it starts next weekend. Is that correct? What's the date?
Is it like a tournament, or they're just inviting them out every weekend?
Oh, some of the games are being played tomorrow. I don't think it's a tournament. Byron's coming
tomorrow. The Twins are in town. How are they doing that?
Oh, yes. That's information that is necessary. They're going to play the games after the Twins are done.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Byron's coming to town. The citizens of Byron are going to be allowed into Hennepin
Here we
County.
go. Jeez.
This is going to suck.
Oh, my God.
Byron plays Stewartville tomorrow.
Here we go.
Lakeville North, Lakeville South, Highland Park, St. Paul Academy, Edina, Minnetonka, White Bear Lake, Mounds View.
I like the fact that they're bringing in St. Paul City schools to play. I think that's a cool deal.
So this is going on tomorrow. Then they do it again April 16th. They do it again April 26th. Now, Randy Shaver, maybe you recognize these schools. Bishop Garrigan. Yes or no? Recognize that school?
It sounds familiar. I'm not sure from where.
Algona, Iowa. There's a couple of Iowegian schools are coming to town.
Okay.
And Clarion Goldfield Dows.
I've never heard of them.
are coming from Clarion, Iowa.
Never heard of them.
All right. Well, that's
more than likely what they do, not to throw water on this because it's a great opportunity, but the Twins will sell tickets to
the game,
to the Twins game, to allow them to come in and do this. So
yeah. They have to sell X amount of tickets.
Yeah, they have to buy a block of tickets to the Twins game to be able to come in and do that.
Oh. Well, but as you guys mentioned, how cool is it for the high school kids to hear their name and they got their image up on the Jumbotron and they got cool hip-hop songs playing while they're walking up to the plate. When we were kids, it was a real thrill to ever play at the Silver Stick tournament in Bloomington because, and there was no bells and whistles. This was just over at the old Bloomington Ice Garden. There were no bells and whistles with the exception of one thing, and that was, I'm going to have a hard time getting through this, Jim Bowers would come over from Met Center and sing the national anthem before our games in the Silver Stick tournament.
That's cool. That's
cool. And if you're an older person and you remember how Jimmy Bowers used to belt out the national anthem at Met Center, it was legendary stuff.
That's cool.
And how the hell, when he would hit a high note at the ass end that was just, all right, before we go again with the Bill Belichick, did you know that he's written a book, an autobiography type of a thing?
Oh, God.
Yeah. Maybe he'll talk about the dry handies that Robert Kraft was paying $60 for at the massage parlor over there on Skid Row. I don't know if it...
Dry?
Yeah, they have lotions there.
$60.
I mean, it's Robert Kraft. You can afford it.
Yeah.
He didn't want
Seems like that's a $30 handy.
He said he didn't want the easy one.
Oh, so it's by request?
Yeah, it was by request.
Who's got the roughest hands in here?
Show me your calluses.
The 80 grit sandpaper.
Who here baled some hay back in the day? Any hay?
Oh, I did.
Okay, well then you're up, Brad. Then you're up.
How much is it going to cost us?
I'll take one from you then.
Oh my God.
Oh. Hey, anyone in the back ever lead a team of horses back in the day? Because I could use a dry handy. Oh my God.
You guys are gross.
Nah, there's no scandal in here. It says here he doesn't mention Robert Kraft or Aaron Hernandez. It's one of these boring, here's how I made it type books, from what I understand. The Art of Winning, he calls it.
I'm going to guess he talked into a tape recorder and his girlfriend wrote the book.
I'm sure there's a ghostwriter involved.
God dang. That was a fun way to end things, Cubby. Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
That was a fun way to end.
Yeah, thanks for bringing us home, Josh.
I'm just glad to be here for the ride. You guys are the best.
Randy and Brad have a great weekend. I mean, just a great weekend, and we'll wrap with you on Monday morning.
See ya.
Okay.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We shall return shortly on the Half-Ass Morning Show.
We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes, it's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
NBA veteran Jim Jackson takes you on the court.
You get a chance to dig into my 14-year career in the NBA and also get the input from the people that will be joining. Charles Barkley.
I'm excited to be on your podcast, man. It's an honor.
Spike Lee, entrepreneur, filmmaker, Academy Award winner.
Knicks fans.
So, now you see, I got you. But also how sports brings life, passion, music, all of this together.
The Jim Jackson Show, part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
half-assed morning show.
We'd like to apologize for the pornography that aired during our cooking segment. There are a lot of very funny people who are good at computers, and we can't stop them.
93X rocks.
I hear you. Thanks for listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. We've made our way up towards 8:31. It's Friday. Hope you're having a good one. We love a good F-off day on Fridays. We do. Ashley's taking it to the next level. A few minutes ago, she upped and left and headed over to the godforsaken auto show.
That's what she claimed.
She just left. And we got her on the telephone. What the hell are you doing over there?
Well, I'm at Camp Jeep right now.
Camp Jeep?
I just went on a ride in one of the Jeeps.
Which model of Jeep did they take you in?
That is a very good question.
Ashley, she just gets in any car with any stranger.
Did it have a truck bed?
Does it what? Sorry.
Did it have a truck bed there?
Yes, it does.
Okay, then you were in a Gladiator. Sweet.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. It was so much fun. They had to warn him ahead of time that I was pregnant. So to take it right easy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, because he thinks you're gross?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so shout out to Corey at the Jeep camp here for taking me on a cool ride.
That would be nerve-wracking to drive a pregnant lady.
Oh, I wouldn't want that pressure.
On a Jeep obstacle. Yeah, we hear about Camp Jeep. Josh has told us about it before. You get to ride in a Jeep on an obstacle course, and you climb mountains and whatnot. So, see, since you've been there, you've already taken a ride.
Yes. Yep. It lasts about 5 minutes, I would say, give or take.
Just like the conception
all day.
of your current condition.
Did you hear what Cubby said? It was good stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, right around 5 minutes.
She did.
This weekend and next weekend.
Generous, but yeah.
She did hear.
This weekend and next weekend, the Twin Cities Auto Show is happening, and Ashley escaped our radio program to go over there and see what's going on. Anything else happening you want to tell us about? What? Oh, God, I know where you probably went first, right? Go ahead and tell us.
Oh, they have puppies up for adoption this weekend and next weekend.
Are they out there already?
I have not seen them yet, but I will be tracking them down.
Yeah, do not.
Subaru is the one that is hosting.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I'm actually getting led over to the puppies right now.
Okay, you cannot bring a puppy back to the radio studio.
You can bring two puppies back to the radio studio, though.
There's puppies.
We lost her.
Oh, my gosh, you guys. This is the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Was there a...
Oh, no,
good
one
boy.
escaped and went over to Camp Jeep. Oh, no! Got ran over. That's terrible.
Oh, my gosh. No, I would cry.
What'd you think?
They are in a pen, so they cannot get run over by any of the vehicles.
What did you think of Camp Jeep, though? Have you been there before? Have you tried that out?
The Camp Jeep or the auto show in general? Sorry.
Camp Jeep.
No, this is the first time. This is the first time I ever tried it out.
Hey, that's really cool, isn't it?
I think it's absolutely incredible. I think everybody needs to check it out.
Do they have the stairs?
Because you feel like you're on a roller coaster, but it's much safer, of course. And I was talking to Corey, the guy that drives people around, and he said that he does it all week. He's the one that's always behind the wheel. And he said he rode passenger a couple hours ago or whatever he was saying, and that it is much more terrifying when you're riding passenger because it feels like they're putting your life in danger.
It does.
I bet.
It does. I haven't done a lot of off-roading ever. I'm just a couple times, and it's been in a situation like this where there was a professional driver taking you on a course that's laid out just for this. Camp Jeep, it was both times I went, I thought there's no way the car's going to be able to handle something like this.
Did you say that the Jeep climbs a set of stairs?
Did they have that this year?
Yes,
stairs?
they do.
Yeah.
Well,
It is absolutely bonkers. The best, though, of course, is the ginormous hill that they have you climb up.
Yeah.
And then they like to, it's 18 feet tall.
They get you damn near sideways there, too?
Yes, and then the best part is on the big hill that they take you over is they'll stop when you're just looking down to add some suspense to the whole ordeal.
Do they have the Raminator, the big Ram monster truck?
Not that I have been able to find yet.
At the Minneapolis Convention Center, Ashley calling in from the auto show. So you took a ride on Camp Jeep. You found the puppies over at the Subaru tent. How about the state troopers?
I have not located them yet, but maybe that's a good thing.
They're looking for you. You'll find them. Did you go over to Luxury Lane and see all how the one percenters live?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's insane.
What are we talking,
I've never seen cars this nice in my life.
Like Maseratis and
It kind of depends on the year, but yeah, it's like sometimes it's even brands you like. I've never heard of such a thing.
Rolls Royce.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Ashley,
everything you can think of.
We'll check in with you again a little bit later. Bring back souvenirs for everybody.
Yeah, and go to
I'll grab some cars.
Go to the place where they pimp all those rides. Take a look at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's where I saw a lifted Subaru Outback and thought that's pretty badass.
Anything lifted.
Yeah, I agree.
Anything lifted can look cool. Fuzzy Dice is good enough for me as far as souvenirs go. We'll call you later, Smashley.
Sounds great. Thank you, guys.
There she goes. The Auto Show, Minneapolis Convention Center this weekend, next weekend. Cubby says he might be able to get himself in there next weekend.
Yeah, I'm hoping next weekend. That's always fun.
Ashley calling in on her cellular telephone. According to a new report, well, let me ask you, Josh, are you the type of person, Dana, whose phone is always dead?
No, I'm too old for that. That's a young person's game.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't like to play that, and I know the young people in my life, they'll let that thing get down to 2-3%, not worry about it. And I don't go anywhere. I'm home most of the time. But if I see that hovering around 50%, I think, I better get this thing on a charger.
I can't leave the house if it's under 50.
All right, so it's a young person's thing to be hovering towards,
at least in my experience,
cell phone death. Do you scan rooms for outlets once your phone dips below 50%? You're looking around.
No, truthfully, I've been in that situation only a couple times in my life. Because really, like I said, when you don't leave the house, you won't find yourself there. But I would be kind of nervous. I don't even know why. I like it when my phone's not working.
Yeah, you're not the type of person that's attached to it.
No, not at all.
Dana, you're more the type of person that's attached to your phone.
Absolutely. I 100% admit that. I have a charger in my backpack, a charger in my car, charger in a lot of different rooms of the house.
Jesus.
I know.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I've just got the one charger.
You know what it will be in about 10 years for you in every room in the house? Cheaters.
Yeah. I think I might be heading that way.
I got a set of cheaters in every room in the house.
I have
so I
two.
can see what the hell I'm doing.
I now have two. I got one for my birthday from my brother.
You'll have more here shortly. You'll have one in the set in the bathroom, kitchen, living room, bedroom. You'll end up buying a 20-pack of these damn things. Okay, back to cell phones. According to this report, the panic percentage, where the person starts worrying about their phone's charge, is at 38%.
I would have assumed lower. But like I said, it's the young people in my life, they don't seem to be too anxious. They do lose chargers constantly.
Oh, yeah.
I can't figure that out.
Mm-hmm. The thing that's weird to me about the young people is how nonchalant they are about it, Josh.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I've heard, young people that will be going out and they'll say, my phone's only like 10%, but whatever, it's fine. I'm like, what do you mean it's fine? Your phone's going to die.
All right, here's a text from John Deere Jesus who says 2 words, battery saver. Do you know what he's talking about?
I'm assuming he means the setting on your phone.
Oh.
Yeah, I have that on at times.
Okay. Where you dummy down the lights and everything and it helps your battery survive a little longer?
Or if maybe he means like that backup battery you can attach to your phone. Tire Guy Jesus does his best to hover at 69%.
You show your bros at the bar,
Yeah.
everybody goes home a winner. What about phone separation anxiety? A listener has texted in, driving somewhere even close to your home but without your phone. Anyone here want to admit they have phone separation anxiety?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
If it weren't for worrying about getting an emergency call from a family member or people being total dicks when you don't respond within 5 minutes, I wouldn't worry about it too much.
All right. While we're hanging out here in the technological world, I think I can use that term safely. Digital clutter. The average amount of digital clutter that Americans have. Okay? Here we go. And this might give some folks a damn anxiety attack just hearing about it. 1,044 unread emails.
It's insane.
That's a real thing?
I could never handle that.
1,000. I mean, I likely have had this problem, but I don't bother going in that direction. You know what I mean? I read the first 5-6 emails, the ones that are in bold letters. That means I haven't read them yet. I don't go and look and see the ones that are 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years old. Who cares?
I have to delete them.
You have to.
I have to take whatever action I need to take. I take it, and I got to delete them.
You have to. See, my OCD doesn't play into my digital
Mine does in every
routine,
aspect.
my digital routine. Okay.
I mentioned this before. Like, I delete texts to the point where my wife could assume I'm cheating on her. Missed calls that.
Yes, you have mentioned that before.
Yeah, you're the only person I know that deletes their text messages at the end of each day.
Sometimes it's in the middle of the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I go through my contact list and thin those out, and that's boned me a few times. I have no idea why.
That's interesting.
I'm like,
that is interesting because...
And there's times that it screws me over.
My OCD doesn't lead me in that direction. I couldn't possibly care less how many emails I have sitting there, how many pages worth of unread. I couldn't possibly care less. Text message, any of that stuff. So the average American has 1,044 unread emails. My wife has been kind enough to help me with, because it drives her nuts if I'm on my computer and she looks over my shoulder and sees that I have 11, 12 pages of past emails. She will say, "Give me that friggin' thing. I can't stand to look at it," and she'll delete everything that's unnecessary.
Oh, this is so stressful. People do this to me every time this topic comes up. They'll send how many unread emails or screenshots. Our boss does that to me sometimes.
Well, what are you looking at? What are they saying?
Thousands. Here's one that has 90,000 unread emails. Ashley, I think it was Ashley. She has over 1,000.
Oh, yeah. No, the other day I went into one of the prod rooms, and Ashley had been in there before me, and she was still signed into her login, so she had her Gmail up, and I saw a couple of 4,000 unread emails, and I told her, I'm like, Ashley, that stressed me out. I couldn't even look at that. It's so awful.
How do you know? My fear is there's something very important I was supposed to get done, and I'm gonna, the boss is gonna be pissed at me, or I'll miss something.
Well, it's kind of like when they warn us here in the building constantly about scams and being phished, and what are the other terms? Being hacked. We're always taking these courses, these classes, and I'm sure there's many of you out there that know what we're talking about. We have to pass these quizzes every few months to prove that we are being vigilant about being hacked and jeopardizing the company's this and that. And now I completely forgot where I was going with that.
Is this why you don't check it out as often? Is that where you're going?
Thank you. If there's a real problem, this is what they always tell us in those classes. If there's a real problem, you'll get a telephone call. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
and by not opening those emails, that means you won't fall for the scams like I have and have to do bonus trainings.
And now, what is it, 2 or 3 times you've fallen for it?
I think 2, but it could be 3.
If there was something really important in there somewhere, Josh, they'd probably give you a friggin' phone call.
Hopefully. Well, no, for you, what they'd do is they'd come to me.
They'd come to Josh.
Tell Nick to respond to this email.
Right.
It sucks when you fall for that thing, too, because you click on something, all of a sudden a bunch of balloons and confetti pops up, and it's like, congratulations, you just failed this test. You're going to have to do bonus dumbass training now.
Yeah, you were telling me it's condescending.
It is, yeah.
Hey, biggest idiot in the company.
Yeah.
I've passed every friggin' quiz, and to this day, I have no idea what any of this means. Okay, so the average American, 1,044 unread emails, 12 unread text messages. That bothers people?
Oh, yeah, any of that.
17 unread social media notifications, whatever that means. 11 unread app messages. 15 open browser tabs. And all of this is bothering you to hear this, isn't it, Josh?
Yeah.
No way you could live like that.
I wish I could handle that, but I'd be afraid I'd just not do something I'm supposed to do.
9 unused smartphone apps and 2 pending software updates.
I love doing things like unsubscribing from things that I don't know how I started to get on some email list of some sort.
Are people torturing you now by sending in texts of their digital clutter?
Oh, yeah.
I saw you reeling in disgust a minute ago as if you read something that was very disturbing.
Now, yeah, here's someone, they sent me a screenshot. 246,288 unread emails. I think I would have to just throw my phone away, cancel that account.
I mean, they just don't care. They must not be techie people. See, you're a techie guy. Here's the thing. We both have OCD. You're a techie guy, so that kind of thing matters to you. I am not, so I couldn't possibly care less how many unread anything that I have on my phone. Apps, all of that, don't care. It just is. It depends on what you're into.
Some of these okay, so
63% of people say they currently have 0 unread text, so that's you.
Correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm getting some right now, though. Oh, that's up for Ashley sending us pictures of some of the cars there. Sweet.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be people trying to freak me out with screenshots, but those are coming in. I wonder if I'm even contacted anywhere. I wonder how long it would take me to get 200,000 emails. That'd probably be years.
I don't know, dude. It's not anything that I follow, but digital clutter, anxiety, affecting your day-to-day operations is a real thing.
The better Ross Jesus can't handle digital clutter. Doesn't like it when there's notifications. Me too. I don't like it at all.
Well,
some people just turn them off.
Good for you for keeping up with it. So you don't have to have 600,000 this or that. All right, before we go here, we got to take a break. Someone's going to Los Angeles to see Oasis. And we'd like it to be one of our listeners. So here's what you got to do. The Gallagher brothers are back together. Oasis Live 25, they call it. Playing a gig this summer. Well, plenty of gigs this summer. One of them is going to be at the Rose Bowl Stadium in Los Angeles. You can score a trip for 2 with round-trip air, a 2-night stay, $250 spending cash, and 2 tickets to see Oasis live in concert with special guest Cage the Elephant. What we need you to do, and this one, not so difficult, I don't think this keyword's going to give too many people problems. Forever is the word. Forever. Text forever to the national keyword 95819, the national keyword number 95819, to enter for a chance to win. Again, forever, and the number you want to punch into your cell phone, 95819. We continue to wish you the best of luck on that. Let's check back in with Smashley at the Twin Cities Auto Show over there at the Minneapolis Convention Center. What the hell are you doing now? Now what are you doing?
Hi, guys. I'm hanging out at the Cars Against Crime exhibit.
Oh,
so
cop cars?
Just real quick, the Cars Against Crime Foundation is an exhibit. They have an exhibit here at the auto show, and it's cars from, they're like famous cop cars and famous crime cars that have been featured in TV shows and movies. And it's a charitable organization, so they provide grants to organizations supporting all the first responders and everyday citizen heroes.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool. You sent us a picture.
It's probably my favorite exhibit so far.
Yeah, you sent us some pictures. The Batmobile, the Mystery Machine, they all look pretty awesome.
Oh, I'm telling you what, the Mystery Machine broke up some pretty serious crimes back in their day.
Much more than that lazy Batman.
Who else? What other cars do you recognize?
They have the sheriff's car, the Mayberry sheriff's car.
For God's sake. Is that right?
The Magnum PI, his vehicle.
Ooh, didn't he drive a, Josh, was it like a Fiero or something like that? What the hell was that little vehicle that...
wasn't it a Ferrari?
Oh, I thought it was less fancy than that.
Maybe it was.
Yep, it is a Ferrari.
Ferrari. Oh, maybe I just...
Yes.
They got the Batman tumbler?
Yes.
Bruh.
Now, what is that?
It's the one from the Christian Bale Batmans.
Oh.
Yeah. Tank-looking thing.
Well, that sounds kind of cool.
And I saved the best for last. I don't know if you guys are ready for this.
What?
They have the police vehicle from RoboCop.
You got to be kidding me.
Are you serious? Can you send us a picture of that?
Ashley, they're
Part
crying right now.
machine, Part human, all crime fighter.
Our tone. Did you notice that our tone completely changed? That's pretty serious. They've got RoboCop's damn car. Well, what is it?
Incredible.
What is it?
Let me see here.
Because if I remember right, did he have a special vehicle? He just had like a souped-up Taurus or something like that.
Yeah. Yep, it's a 1986 Ford Taurus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I
Jet
remember.
black, all murdered up.
Yeah.
Yep, they got some fake bullet holes in the side of it, of course.
Oh, those might be real.
If you live on the west side of Egan, they're real, especially the southwest side.
You didn't get any word on an appearance by RoboCop this weekend or next weekend, did you?
No, I haven't.
Son of a bitch.
I would tell you guys about that immediately.
That all sounds very cool.
They say to never meet your heroes, but would you guys be willing to risk it to meet RoboCop?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, absolutely.
Even if he was a dick, I probably deserve it.
I'd let him shoot me in the wiener. I don't really care. I'd love to meet RoboCop. We got to take a trip to see that statue in Detroit, Nick.
They have a RoboCop statue.
It keeps bouncing around, though.
They move them around?
Yeah, I mean, because they'll have it somewhere, and somebody in the city says, we don't want that there, and they'll move it in front of a library or something.
Man, they should make it so, for you hockey fans out there, they should make it in Detroit where RoboCop is choking Steve Yzerman. Then I would make a trip this weekend. If he's choking Steve Yzerman or any member of the late 90s Detroit Red Wings, I would make it that much more entertaining. You mentioned that there was a little puppy adoption exhibit there at the auto show. Thanks to the folks at Subaru, you said. Have you picked out your latest puppy yet?
Yeah, I've got it down to 4.
Okay.
Are you seriously considering bringing one home?
Oh, my gosh, no. My fiance would absolutely kill me if I came home with a 4th dog.
Can we get audio of a whining puppy before we go, or would that be impossible?
I'm far away from
All right, forget it. How about souvenirs?
Oh, yeah, I'm working on that.
I would like a Ford hat. Josh would like the Calvin sticker where it's urinating on a Packer logo. He wants to put that in the back window. Can you think of any other souvenirs you'd like from the auto show, Josh?
Well, I mentioned I'd like a Ram RHO. do they let you drive one of those as a souvenir?
Yeah, I'm sure I could talk to somebody. They have the Bat Copter, and that's pretty small, so I might be able to get that out of here.
Do they have the Peter Copter?
No, they don't. But that's funny because it looks exactly like that.
Does it look like the Peter Copter? I love the Peter Copter.
You don't have to get us anything, but just tell everyone we said hello at the auto show. And,
absolutely, we'll do that.
Yeah, we love them down there. That's
bring
fun.
Bring your carcass back home safe. All right.
Sounds good. I'll see you guys soon.
Thanks, Smashley.
Bye.
Are we out?
Are we out?
Like a scout on a new route?
Classic Country Jesus says Raptor R, dude. Do they have the Raptor Rs out there? Oh, I'll have to check that out.
I don't know that one, but I like the looks of all those damn Raptors.
Yeah, Dana, at your wedding, somebody had a, Ranger. A Raptor Ranger. I didn't know they made a Raptor Ford Ranger.
Double dudes.
Pretty sweet.
That all sounds cool.
Shout out to Chaos Coordinator Jesus becoming an aunt for the 7th time today. Her sister is having her second kid any second. Congrats to you and your very fertile family. Shout out to the maintenance and electrician crew at RAR Malting. We hear they're a great group of guys to work with. Best of luck to Amy and Alexis heading down to Kansas City for a volleyball tournament this weekend from Box Truck Rapper Jesus. An old crotchety testosterone declining shout out to handyman/lawn barber Jesus, turning the big 4-0 today. The text goes on to say, hopefully he makes it to his barn birthday bash tomorrow from his wife, fetal sonographer Jesus. Happy birthday to bisexual gamer Jesus from her coworker that can't think of a good Jesus name. Happy birthday to Filipino riding a Velociraptor Jesus. And if anyone happens to be going to First Avenue tomorrow night for Ninja Sex Party, I'll be there as well and love to meet you if you felt like saying hi. Have a great weekend, everyone.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
You gotta be kidding me. Who greenlit this garbage?
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.